What's going on, fellow A-plusers? It is I, your more phenomenal host, back at it once again, Adam Perez. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us for a brand new episode of A-plus More Phenomenal, your weekly stop for your Power Rangers, Super Sentai, Kamen Rider, and Ultraman news and reviews. Going live over on our YouTube page, as well as over on Twitch, as well as our main hub, which is in fact our Facebook page. Thank you guys so much for certainly joining us for what is going to turn out to be our final episode of A-plus More Phenomenal here on its own channel. Thank you very much, guys, for all your years, certainly, of support. But this is the farewell episode for us. But we're going to have some fun here today, man. We definitely got a ton of topics we're going to be breaking down. We're going to be devoting this majority of the time to live viewer questions, as well as, trust me when I say, we've got a plethora to certainly go ahead and get into. But based off of all your guys' support each and every weekend, I definitely want to go ahead and give you guys as much time as we certainly could. So we're definitely going to get some live viewer questions, and again, some tokusatsu and some Power Ranger news here and there, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much. I know, listen, it's so funny to me. Somebody, was it Coder Nerd, I think it was, yesterday commented on, once I actually had the stream up and ready to go, he commented, wait, farewell episode, what's going on? And I said, Coder, I don't know where you've been, man, but I feel like over the past month, we've been really, if not longer, pushing the message here that unfortunately A-plus More Phenomenal was going to be not creating any new content. We are completely done in regards to at least the weekly show. So again, just to give you guys an understanding as to how things are certainly going to go, my Power Ranger topics and discussions and things like that, I do have another YouTube channel called A-plus Hero Report. There is a link in the description box below. That's exactly where I'm going to be taking all of my Power Ranger content and certainly moving it over there. So A-plus More Phenomenal will not have a weekly show anymore. If there is any Power Ranger news that drops throughout the week, we in fact will be covering it, if not on our midweek show, then definitely on our Sunday show for A-plus Hero Reports. Again, unfortunately for us, this is kind of how we had it originally when we first started doing YouTube back in 2012, I think is when I started doing YouTube. I had a YouTube page called A-plus Opinions, in which we started talking about Power Rangers there. I think Super Megaforce or Megaforce might have been the first season that I started talking about back in the day. And it just wind up adding a bunch of Star Wars and Marvel and DC to our channel as well. And we really had every single topic on just one YouTube channel at A-plus Opinions. But unfortunately, 2 years ago, when we wind up losing our channel, I came up with the idea of going ahead and actually splitting up the channel. Why not go ahead and create a hero report for just my Marvel and DC television and movie side of things, and one channel for Power Rangers, to go ahead and focus solely on Power Rangers. And tell me, I got to tell you, man, it's been a fantastic, almost going on 2 years now that we've had A-plus More Phenomenal up, certainly as its own channel. Some of you may only know me for A-plus More Phenomenal over the past 2 years. But trust me when I say this feels to me like we're kind of going back to the norm in which it certainly used to be on A-plus Opinions in regards to putting everything together back onto one channel. And honestly, 2 years ago, it was probably a good idea, a great idea to go ahead and split up the content that way. But life changes, unfortunately. And with me having a son of my own about 6 months ago, my life definitely got turned upside down, to certainly say the least. And I've definitely have wanted to find more opportunities to go ahead and hang out with my family, spend more time certainly watching him grow. And honestly, just for my own mental health, just maybe get some sort of social life back. Because not only do we around here create and prep 3 hours of live YouTube content just on the weekends, we also do weekly reviews for other content and other videos as well. So I definitely need to certainly go ahead and take some things off of my plate. And that's exactly what we are in the process of doing. So really trying to open up my weekends, Fridays and Saturdays, spend some time with the family, devote a lot of my time to the family, and really get out of the house more. So, helps my mental state and my social ability with others, if you know what I mean. But fear not. Again, while A-plus More Phenomenal will be wrapping up today in regards to its weekly shows, we will continue at least Donbrothers until that winds up trickling out, and or at least until that season wraps. And then once we actually wind up getting to any Power Ranger news, any Power Ranger reviews, opinion videos, content videos here or there. All of that stuff you will certainly find over on APlus Hero Report. And that will be certainly our main hub. But listen, if you guys are out there, Power Ranger content creators, since I am still going to be talking about Power Rangers just on another YouTube channel, feel free to always reach out to me if you certainly would like to. If you have any plans to collaborate, if you want to do any videos together, I'm definitely always available to go ahead and sit and discuss some Power Ranger content with you guys. A couple quick shout outs I want to give. Definitely shout out to Joe Deckelmeyer, Jezer from the Illuminati, also good old Matt Aguilar from Comic Book Nation. Really appreciate it. Nightmare, Esty, Ranger Liz, some really great supportive Power Ranger content creators. Erlim and I feel like at least social media wise, we've definitely commented a little bit more. Deoxy 360 out there. There definitely have been some amazing content creators. And even though again, I'm not going to necessarily have my own Power Ranger YouTube channel, I definitely will certainly do my best to continue to be a part of the community in any way that I certainly can. Shout out also to old school Power Ranger content creator brother Doug for getting me involved in creating Power Ranger stuff. Mr. Weenie Productions also. I used to watch him when we certainly first started, and I could definitely say the YouTube game and just the landscape has definitely changed since I started doing YouTube about 10 years ago. So let me go ahead and give some shout outs to some people that are certainly in the chat with us. Maybe some people certainly stopping by to certainly give their well wishes. So thank you very much, guys. If I happen to miss your name, I do apologize, but it should certainly be a good episode here this week. We got Ram Jam in the house, certainly coming through. Thank you very much, Ram Jam. Always been a great supporter. Jordan in the house says, "Yo, I was supposed to be at work today, but by the glory of God and the universe, I'm off and here to celebrate the ending of something awesome." Well, thank you very much, Jordan. I really appreciate the support, man. We got Michael Rhymes in the house. Abase is here as well. And it would not be an episode of APlus Morphinominal if I didn't give a shout out to Suck My Own Balls, the most talented man in the universe. We got Harka in here as well. Enrique Perez, thank you very much. He said, "This is the final question for you. The upcoming Donbrothers episode will add a new Taro character. Also, Icky and Vice will become the third Reiwa final ride form, and the Don Brother movie is almost here." I'm looking forward to that Don Brother movie for sure. We got Francois in the house. Stuart, what's up, Stuart? Thank you very much. I don't know if you've been here before, Stuart. Maybe you are. Maybe you are familiar with the channel. But regardless, thank you very much, Stuart, for certainly coming through. We got Tarek in the house. The Mofo Knight. Dino rights, fight for your Dino Knights, fight for your rights. I always felt like that should definitely have been the tagline for Dino Fury. Good old Jackson Peterson in here. We got John in the house with us today. Kurt Marino. We also got Morgan Hutchinson. Good old Jack Daniels, because it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Carter Matthews letting us know he's in the house today. We got Nicole Robertson, certainly says it's finally the weekend, y'all. That's right. Time to celebrate for sure. I almost thought about popping open a Modelo beer tonight or today. But I was like, you know what? It is noon. And even though it is 5 o'clock somewhere, even drinking at noon might be a little bit too early for me, unless it's like a mimosa or like a Bloody Mary. I'm trying to fight a hangover or something like that. Good old Danny Morales. What's up, Danny? Adrian Perez in the house also. We got Johnny. What's up, Johnny? Put him in the body bag. Yeah. Good to see you, buddy. Roberto in here too. We got Carlo. Gabriel Glasgow, yo, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, man. We got Jericho in the house, and show some love too, especially if you guys are in the live chat. If you haven't hit that like button yet, man, hit that like button. Definitely appreciate it. We got Chris Crossman in the house. Hey ladies, I'm not too familiar with who Hey Ladies is, but thank you very much for certainly coming through. Blossom certainly in the house. Jinsaku is certainly here. He says, "Had to pull up for this one." We appreciate you, man, certainly coming through. I had a hell of a fantastic time. Listen, if you guys have not had the opportunity to check out the Illuminati video that myself, Joe, Dan from the fan club, and Jinsako did, definitely go ahead and certainly check it out over the Illuminati. It was a great time talking about the wrapping up of Power Rangers Dino Fury. Go ahead and check out that video. Make it like the most well-watched, the most viewed episode over there on the Illuminati if you can. We got Doomsday in the house. Appreciate you coming through. Coder Nerd is back. Thank you very much, Coder Nerd. I can't remember if I gave you a shout out Doomsday or not, but there's another one for you. We got JB says what in the house also. We got Morph Henshin Heroes. Thank you very much. He says, "Hey Adam, I love A Plus Heroes and Morph." And oh, it's Jared. Oh, appreciate you coming through, Jared. Thank you very much, man. Yeah, if you guys aren't checking out A Plus Morph on A Plus Hero Report, do yourselves a favor, man. We got some great content. It's not just myself. I've got two other co-hosts that we talk a bunch of television news, movie news, and again, if you're big Marvel, DC, Star Wars fans, it's a great channel for you guys to definitely go ahead and get on board. Gabriel, Gabriel, Coder does have a concern. He says, but I fear the new channel may spoil stuff, like I don't have time to keep up with all superhero stuff. Well, listen, we do our best not to try and spoil anything for you. If anything, we just try and keep you up to date in regards to casting announcements, how production is going, maybe some great insight in regards to what's going on with some of the movies as they get into production. So we don't really do a lot of big spoilers to ruin movies for you or anything like that, in the process of more just keeping you up to date, very much like how we deal with the Power Ranger content, certainly around here. Gabriel does say, I am confused as to how you will balance Power Ranger talk on A Plus Hero Report. Like, for instance, today we literally only got one Power Ranger news topic to talk about, and that's JDF. Like, I don't really expect every week to be bombarded with Power Ranger news, and some Power Ranger news will be more worthy to talk about than not. So there's plenty of other news that we're going to be talking about on A Plus Hero Report, but if there is in fact a big enough topic from Power Rangers to definitely go ahead and drop, like again, this JDF topic we're going to talk about, I almost made that a topic on A Plus Hero Report, but I figured since I was going to be talking about it on here, I probably am not going to if anything. So on Hero Report at least. But that's how it would work. I mean, again, I would just, since we're going to be doing more of a midweek episode too, along with an end of the week, it does give us the opportunity that if there is Power Ranger news, to definitely go ahead and maybe fit it in somewhere in any of those shows, to certainly go ahead and talk about it. It's just not going to be the overall focus as A Plus Morphinominal, because sometimes there just isn't enough Power Ranger news out there to certainly talk about. So it's really more, it definitely will be more balanced. Good old video DVDs in the house. We got Nanditha in here as well. Adrian Perez certainly coming through. Marcelino Vasquez in the house. Guys, thank you very much, everybody. Like, you really have no idea what it means to see like everybody's faces around here. The fact that I mean, the live chat right now is just blowing up. We got Ranger Collector. The fact that you guys are taking time out of your weekend, man, to say farewell and to thank me, it really does go a long way, man. We got Johnny in the house. He says, wow, I'm going to miss A Plus More Phenomenal, but I'm grateful. And I'm grateful for you guys as well, Johnny. So thank you very much, man. We got Lightwing in the house also. Sunny Shields in here too. Says, oh, man, Modelo is delicious. If you haven't had a Modelo and you love you some Mexican beer, do yourselves a favor, man. I do love me some Dos Equis, but when I'm not, I prefer Modelo. We got Deoxy in here. He says, I'm here at 1 a.m. to say hello and watch the stream. Yo, Deoxy, thank you very much, man. One of the reasons why I gave you a shout out for being so supportive of the channel over the years. So I appreciate that, man. Oh, Alec, it's you, Alec. Good to see you, man. Thank you very much for coming through today. Jericho says, do it, man. It's your final episode. Open a beer. You know what? Let me. I don't want to get up from my my live chat real quick, but let me see something. I'm asking the girlfriend if she can go grab me the last Modelo in the fridge. All right, we'll see. We'll see if she comes through. Let's see here. Who else do we got? Just trying to make sure I get everybody in here. Emmanuel in the house. Thank you very much, Emmanuel. Definitely want to give everybody some shout outs just to make sure I'm not missing anybody. You know what I mean? Especially on this last day. I think we got everybody though. Yu in the house. Thank you very much, Yu. He says, I haven't been in one of these in a while. Life's been busy, but I couldn't miss the final episode. Well, I appreciate you taking time out of your day, man. Trust me, it really does go a long way, Yu. So I know how busy life can certainly get, man. Trust me when I say that's one of the reasons why we are doing what we're doing. And trust me when I say, man, it is extremely bittersweet. I had a conversation with my girlfriend the other day. P.S. Beer is coming. See, the girlfriend always coming through, man. The girlfriend's always coming through. So yeah, it's only noon here, but screw it. Mixing coffee and beer, I don't know how that's gonna sit with my stomach later, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make for this episode, guys. But yeah, me and the girlfriend talked yesterday, and that's what I mentioned is like the fact that it was just going to be really bittersweet because while for me this does give me an opportunity now to channel my attention solely to one particular channel. If anything, um, uh, if anything, I am going to miss these opportunities of coming on here Saturday afternoons and sitting down and talking with you guys about all the stuff that's going on in this particular world. It's been great to be able to build up this amazing sort of Power Ranger community. And I really do hope that even though I am moving to a different channel, that we are able to keep that same mindset and that same community over at Hero Report and let people know in the sense that, we do still continue to cover Power Ranger content. And if you are a big fan or a part of the fandom, APlus Hero Report certainly will be a home for you. And I also will say too, in other ways to communicate with us and connect with us outside of the YouTube page for Hero Report, we do have our fantastic Discord community. It's a Discord forum community. We do have a fantastic section there for APlus Morphinominal still to talk Power Rangers, Super Sentai content if you want to continue to communicate with us outside of our YouTube channel. So fantastic amounts of ways for us to continue to build our Power Ranger community here over at APlus Hero Report. But it is definitely going to be bittersweet because this is one of the reasons why I got into YouTube in the first place, and continuing to see the channel grow as much as it certainly has over the years. And continue to, even though we're going to get ready to not create content for it anymore, I will keep up the channel. The channel will continue to stay up so that all the content certainly remains there for everybody to certainly enjoy from time to time. And who's to say? Never say never. Life changes, opportunities change. If APlus Hero Report continues to grow and grow, and we wind up bringing in more members to the APlus Opinions family, people that want to create content. If I can get a big enough crew, maybe one day APlus Morphinominal will return. If I can get like 2 or 3 people to work on, say, the Power Rangers side of things, then maybe at some point in time, APlus Morphinominal will at least return. So I don't have plans on terminating this channel. If anything, we're just going to stop creating content here and just move everything over to the other side of things. So a lot of changes, guys, but bittersweet. But trust me when I say I'm very appreciative of everybody's support. And again, the fact that we've gotten so many people here. Look at that. Look at that. Thank you, dear. Wifey goals, guys. Wifey goals. That's what I'm talking about. So good old Modelo Especial. This is more of I don't want to say a lighter beer, but it is a lighter beer. They do offer also a darker beer if you're into that as well. But this goes down so incredibly smooth. So to each and every one of you out there, I know that this is in fact Farwell. Sunny Shield says, bless the girlfriend. So yes, thank you very much. But cheers again to each and every one of you guys out there for all your support. And thank you for being here with me today. Yes. That mixture of coffee and beer goes down smooth. I love it. What was that? Morphin Henshin? I understand and respect what you're doing. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. All right, guys. With that out of the way, it is girlfriend, but yeah, I'm just saying, wifey goals, things that you got to keep in mind before you put that ring on that finger. You know what I'm saying? But yes, most definitely, always coming through for me, man. All right. No, Blossom, I'm not going to get drunk. I appreciate it. All right, guys, with that out of the way, and I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about it. Try and hold back tears. trying to hold back tears. But let's go ahead and dive into this week's episode. Before I know it, I'll look down and like the time will be gone. So let's go ahead and get through some of these main topics for you guys today. So let's go ahead and kick off, man. One of the biggest news that wind up coming out this week, good old JDF, Jason David Frank himself, is back in the news. And it seems as though not only may we be saying farewell to A Plus Morphinominal, but we might be saying farewell to good old JDF as well when it comes to the Power Ranger franchise. I think he had the opportunity to sit down with Mr. Weenie Productions, or he was speaking with somebody. And the idea of him possibly appearing in David Yost's reboot, as we have the rumored quantum continuum that's certainly still out there that David Yost certainly continues to push. No confirmation as to whether or not quantum continuum, what David Yost is certainly working on in regards to his reboot series. No word yet as to whether or not that's being confirmed or even in the works. Something that we're still certainly keeping our fingers very much crossed for. But in that particular interview, JDF had some interesting words to say to maybe imply the fact that he may not be coming back to Power Rangers. This is from Jason David Frank. This is from comicbook.com. Shout out to Nick Valdez. Again, I had the opportunity to sit down with Nick along with Matt over from Comic Book Nation. Two and incredibly great guys, very knowledgeable about Power Rangers, and they do a great job of taking care of Power Rangers over on the comicbook.com side. But he went ahead and put this article together. Jason David Frank could be done with Power Rangers ahead of the 30th anniversary. Now, one of the things from some of the rumors and insider sources that have been telling us from the Illuminati and Jinsaku, the fact that the OG Rangers have in fact been invited to come back for, I believe, the 30th anniversary, along with the MMPR revival special that they're possibly working on. We've heard that invites have in fact been sent out to the OGs. Not all the invites have in fact been accepted, so I'm not under the impression that everybody will in fact be returning. But I'm almost under the impression, like, I don't even know if JDF wind up getting the invitation here, guys. So let's go ahead and talk about this. We're going to go ahead and dive into this article. This comes to us again from comicbook.com. JDF could be done with Power Rangers. It says, it seems like Power Rangers headed into its 30th anniversary. One of the biggest stars to come out of the franchise is ready to move on, as Jason David Frank opened up about his plans for the future and is currently in the works on Legends of the White Dragon project in a special announcement to fans. As Power Ranger franchise nears its next major milestone under Hasbro, there have been rumors about the potential plans that the company could have for the 30th anniversary celebration outside of the currently in the works rebooted universe of TV and movies for Netflix. So it says, in a special Facebook live stream with fans, as noted by Mr. Weenie Productions on YouTube, Frank opened up about the reports of a potential reboot and not only revealed that he's not heard about any such project being in the works, but he also explained he's done enough for Power Rangers franchise. So let's see what he says. He says, this is Jason David Frank's exact quote. He says, any updates on David Yost's reboot? There is no reboot. There is no reboot. The rumors are rumors. There's nothing going on. I have not heard. So according to JDF, he's very much unaware whether or not Hasbro has sent an invite for him to be out or come back to the 30th anniversary. Who certainly knows? He does mention David Yost's reboot. So this specifically feels very much like he's talking about quantum continuum. Again, we have had no confirmation whatsoever from Hasbro or anybody else that David Yost reboot series is in the works. So could he be telling the truth here? Absolutely. Any update on David Yost's reboot? There is no reboot. There is no reboot. The rumors are rumors. Could that be true? Absolutely. At this point, it does say that Frank began. It says, there's nothing going on. I have not heard. Frank began before opening up about the fact that he wants to move on from the brand overall. He says, but right now I need to move on to the Legend of the White Dragon. I don't want to cover my tattoos. I'm 49 years old. I've done enough for the Power Ranger brand. I love it. But now with situations that happen, and there's certain people that won't be in your reunion, if there was, I don't know. So this almost feels like two different things here. He's talking about David Yost's reboot, where he says there's no reboot, there's no reboot, the rumors are rumors. But then he says, but now the situations that happened, I'm assuming he's talking about Austin St. John's situation. Uh, there's certain people that won't be in the reunion. If there is one, I don't know. It almost feels like he's kind of covering his tracks. So remember, the reunion and this supposed David Yost reboot are two different things. And so the idea here, it definitely feels like the reunion is certainly in play. Is that still David Yost's reboot? I'm feeling like it's two separate things here, according to what JDF is certainly saying. So who knows whether or not he's going to be back for the I'm not expecting him back for the reunion after these. The fact that he says, but right now I need to move on. That's what he's been working on the past 2 or 3 years. That's definitely where his focus is. He says, I don't want my tattoos to be covered at the age of 49 years old. I don't blame you, bro. He says, I've done enough for Power Ranger brand. I love it, but now's the situation that happened. There won't be people won't be in the reunion if there was one. I just don't know. But he says, elaborating further on possibly moving on, he says, but I'm saying that for me, after 30 years, I get that you give you a movie that I get to wear that me and Bat in the Sun created 10 years ago. It takes about 10 years to get things going, and I never gave up. White Dragon comes out in 2023 in March next year, where it's just like fine wine. It's under the 2-year mark, and we're perfect. Movies take 2 or 3 years, so I'll be looking for that movie too. So he's definitely looking towards the future for himself when it comes to the Legends of the White Dragon, and I certainly don't blame him whatsoever. The guy is almost 49 years old, about 49 years old, about to be pushing 50, sort of thing. Getting into that spandex, I'm sure, gets more and more difficult each year. But I do like the idea that listen, he has done plenty for this. For this franchise. I'm sure that there are going to be JDF haters out there that are going to be rejoicing in the idea that he's not going to be a part of this franchise. I'm sure there are going to be people out there going to be saying, thank God that he's certainly not coming back, that maybe people feel he's been overused and watered down, sort of thing, over the years. Overrated, whatever people want to certainly say about JDF. I've never viewed the man that way. Like, I get the idea of maybe there being a little bit more too much overusage, and us over the years having always wanted to see other people certainly return. I definitely do think that that's certainly a valid excuse, but I think some of the hate that JDF certainly gets is really unwarranted, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, this is a guy who simply was in the right place at the right time, that took opportunities that were given to him or presented to him when other people might have turned things down or maybe didn't want to come back to the franchise. If there's anybody that if you ask me, that has helped keep Power Rangers relevant over the past 20 plus years when we couldn't find any other Power Ranger around, it's JDF. And I'm not saying we should be kneeling down, kissing this man's ass for everything that he's done, but to completely ignore, everything that JDF has done for Power Rangers, for the community, some shit for free, some things for, a discounted price. I mean, the guy has always felt like he's always wanted to do what he can for the fans and make them feel a part of the community. For me, he's really done nothing but try and be an encouraging person and a great role model for people in Power Rangers also. And when nobody was talking about Power Rangers, JDF hitting the convention scene, keeping his face out there, continuing to promote the franchise over years with the help of Saban and stuff. I mean, you want to talk about a lifeline and keeping Power Rangers resuscitated over all these years. JDF has certainly a lot to definitely do with it. And again, you can be mad at JDF if you want to. I would say, if anything, maybe be mad at Saban, maybe be mad at Hasbro for not thinking outside the box and introducing and getting other people to certainly be here. When JDF in the past has said, listen, I'll do things for Power Rangers for free, I completely believe the guy. You know what I mean? He's busted his ass for Power Rangers, done everything that the fans have certainly asked of him and more over the years. I mean, he may not necessarily be an OG in regards to the original 5, but considering where he started off at, considering how recent we really just saw him, talk about longevity, talk about popularity. JDF has certainly done it all. So if the man wants to get away from the Power Ranger franchise, I don't blame the guy. I don't blame the guy. And it feels very much like it's just kind of out of love. Like there's the way that he says it, at least, is the sense that it doesn't feel like there's any animosity towards the Power Ranger franchise. Maybe something towards Hasbro that I don't know. I don't really know what his relationship is like, or if Hasbro has even kept him in the loop. I felt like JDF and Saban were probably the link that was tied more closely than it is a relationship between JDF and Hasbro. So maybe Hasbro hasn't been that willing, or maybe JDF hasn't since the management change. All that I don't know. That's just speculation on my part. But I will say the fact that he wants to go out and create something for himself at the age of 50, I don't blame the man whatsoever after all his years of service. So give this man a purple medal, a medal of honor when it comes to Power Rangers, whatever the case may be. Put this man in the Hall of Fame somewhere one day. He's definitely done enough, and he's earned his right to certainly do whatever he wants to in his career, to certainly say the least. So, if this is the last time that we've seen him, thank you very much for your service. Most definitely. I there's a part of me that would like to see him pop up somewhere, whether that be in the MMPR reunion special, whether that be in the 30th anniversary special. It would be nice for me at least to certainly see him, as long as he doesn't necessarily overtake the entire episode. And I think when you do sometimes include JDF, just his popularity alone kind of sometimes demands that. So I think there should certainly be a balance. Do I think he's coming back? Probably not, but it would be a fantastic surprise, to certainly say the least. But again, listen, I know some of you guys are pretty passionate in regards to your thoughts about JDF. Do you think that this means that he's completely done with the franchise? Or do you think there's opportunities, I should say, for him to certainly come back at some point in time? I do think that this is probably the last time that we're going to get the opportunity to see him. But I really look forward to seeing what he's created with Legends of the White Dragon. And I really do hope that the fans who paid their hard-earned money get the opportunity to see it as well, because I think JDF and Bat and the Sun together do make themselves a pretty great combination. And we'll see if anything else kind of comes out of this Legend of the White Dragon. Yeah, man, we'll see. Shout out to JDF, man, for continuing to be such a fantastic spokesperson for Power Rangers over the years. But let me see what you guys are saying in the live chat. Jack Daniels says, Adam, don't you wish you had some Jack Daniels? Nah, that's a little bit too strong for me, man. Not right now, at least. Not right now. Carter says Adam's going to be drunk by the end of the episode. I don't know. We'll see. Blossom says Tommy's leaving, huh? The most overrated Ranger of all time leaving. Holy moly macaroni. Overrated? I don't know if I would call JDF overrated, man. I feel like he's rated exactly where he's supposed to be. Like maybe if JDF didn't come back as much and like he only was the Green Ranger and White Ranger in his career and did nothing else, then maybe I consider him overrated. But that's just me at least. Doomsday says, I'm going to miss the most legendary Power Ranger of them all. And listen, it's one of those things too. Like you want to talk about like recognizable people. I'm pretty sure that some people would probably remember the OG Rangers if they were to see them kind of walking down the street, right? But it's so funny to me. I remember when I used to work at a company about maybe 5-6 years ago, and I remember I was gonna go to a fan expo out here in Dallas and meet JDF, and I remember after I had gotten his photograph and his signature, I remember bringing it to work with me and putting it on my desk. And it's funny to me, just like the amounts of people that sort of walked by my desk that haven't watched Power Rangers since they were like a kid, didn't even know Power Rangers was still on or even still existed, but they would come by my desk and they'd be like, is that Tommy? Is that Tommy? Like probably one of the most recognizable people if you grew up in the 90s for sure. JDF just has that about him, man. He just left quite the impression, certainly over the years, most definitely. Nandita says, I really lost hope on Quantum Continuum, but David said he's still working on it and promoting it on his live stream. And he certainly should continue to promote it. The more eyes that are certainly on it gives you a better chance. I am kind of under the impression, though, the more that I hear, I feel very much like what we are getting, if we get it, and that's a big if as of right now, especially with the ASJ stuff. If we do get it, I'm kind of under the impression that it's not David Yost's quantum continuum, but maybe else something along those lines. I'm not quite sure, Nanditha, but trust me when I say I'm definitely going to go ahead and continue to promote it and keep my fingers crossed that it certainly happens. But as of right now, it's just simply speculation and rumor, like JDF says. But again, I am kind of curious in the sense of, did Hasbro even reach out to him? Is it something that he's pushed back against, not wanting to certainly return? He feels very much like he doesn't know too much, or maybe he does and he's keeping it tight-lipped. I mean, the idea of him clearly paying attention to the ASJ news that happened, even referencing the idea of not sure how that was going to affect the reunion, and then catching himself in the sense of, oh well, I don't know. Oh well, maybe it's really not happening. I don't know. I think he knows maybe a little bit more than even he's certainly letting on, but maybe he doesn't. Maybe he doesn't. Danny says, he said he's done with Power Rangers to focus on other things like Legend of the White Ranger. Technically, it's still Power Rangers. Technically, it's not, though. Like, technically, it's not Power Rangers. I mean, trust me when I say Hasbro would not let this man release it if it was technically Power Rangers. I get the idea that it's very much a suit and a costume and very much inspired of that off of Power Rangers, but there's really no connection outside of the similarities that we have. But if it was Power Rangers, trust me, Hasbro would be like, nah, cease and desist, bro. Cease and desist. Jordan says, could be Andrew Garfielding us. Amen, bro. Amen. If they shout out to Andrew Garfield for best liar of 2021, man. I absolutely love. Give this man an award for just the straight face and the bold lies he told us to our face about not being in the Spider-Man movie. Yeah, maybe JDF is hitting us with some Andrew Garfield here. Who certainly knows? Abase says, God, I hope JDF doesn't come back for the reunion. I'd rather see Billy, Zach, and Kimberly to honor Trini. I don't want to see Tommy again. If Jason may not come back because of circumstances, he had his time. And for me, I wouldn't mind the idea of JDF not popping up in the reunion special. I would be cool with him popping up in the 30th anniversary, though. I wouldn't mind seeing him pop up in one of those. Good old Deoxy. Maybe JDF had that realization that he doesn't want to be the Power Ranger guy forever and move on to Power Ranger and move on to other projects. Probably. I mean, granted, look, like Danny said, he feels like what he's doing with Legends of the White Dragon and technically is Power Rangers. I definitely get the influence, obviously, in there. But I would like to see him move on to other projects too. Like, this is a great one for him. Legends of the White Dragon, one of the things that I've always wanted to see from JDF, I really want to see him take that next step in regards to his performances and his acting. Sometimes I've always felt he's very much been sort of an over actor. Maybe this is an opportunity for him to be directed by somebody else, right? Show a different side to him, even though it is kind of Power Ranger related. Maybe this opens up further opportunities for him, certainly down the road. But we'll see. We'll see if he'll always be considered that Power Ranger guy. Look, he's almost 50 years old. It feels like he hasn't necessarily broke um that casting that people have kind of put on him, to kind of play that one note role or that one role all the time. I think he even did some Bloodshot stuff, I think, with Bat in the Sun also. But I do like the idea of seeing JDF dabble in other things outside of Power Rangers for sure. Nanditha says, I feel like it's also because of how JDF and Hasbro's relationship soured. Yeah, it could be some of that too, Nanditha. I feel like there have been rumblings about it. I don't know if I've read anything specifically, but I feel like I've heard it through the grapevine in regards to on Twitter and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know what their relationship is like for sure. Morphin Henshin says, JDF has done for Power Ranger franchise and seasons he has been and definitely put the work for years. Oh, yeah. I mean, you want to talk about as great of a hustler as there is out there in the world, always trying to do something, whether for the fans and for himself. I mean, JDF is as great of a hustler as it comes, man. Jordan says, in my opinion, if you had to pick or point to one Ranger, JDF is the Power Ranger to me. I totally agree with you, Jordan. I totally agree with you. Ram Jam agrees. He's done a lot for this franchise. JB says, what says, I mean, it's time to move on. You have to do it. Absolutely. Absolutely, bro. He says, I've really liked Tommy as a character. However, he kept coming back in every anniversary. The more we saw Tommy, the less special it felt. That said, I can understand why he wants to move on. I agree with 100% with you. That's why I said I always love seeing JDF come back, but I understand the pushback about people that are like, I'm so tired of seeing him. He gets all the spotlight every time. There are other Rangers that deserve that spotlight, and I completely 100% agree for sure. But for me, it just doesn't take away the fact of the impact that he has, and I understand why they have done what they do because of how recognizable that he certainly is. Yeah, I can understand why he certainly wants to move on. Enrique says, is JDF retiring from Power Rangers? It feels like it. It feels like it. Blossom says, please don't get drunk on me, bro. I'm not. I promise I'm not. I might get a little loose. We'll see. No, I'm not going to get drunk. Don't worry. Johnny says, love the character, but I agree. JDF has done so much for the Power Ranger brand. I'm very grateful for everything he has done. I'm looking forward to Legend of the White Dragon. Yeah, me too, man. Good old Stuart in the house. He says, I hope Power Ranger brands get stronger going forward. I love this brand so much, and I want it to be big again and more successful. I love the current series, Dino Fury. Well, thank you very much for your thoughts, Stuart. And I'm in the same position as you. I know right now things are very on the edge with what's going on with Hasbro, with some of the news that we've been hearing. The new CEO maybe not seeing Power Rangers as such a priority, maybe taking its time and trying to develop what it is that it certainly is. The recent ASJ stuff, is this going to really hamper the idea of us getting a reunion special, or will Hasbro, switch course and get somebody else like Steve Cardenas, or just stick with who is in fact certainly coming back and who isn't? There's a lot of uncertainty right now in Power Rangers, but I think a lot more years to certainly go for us to really see what Hasbro has in store. I mean, look, we still have a 30th anniversary season that's coming our way. We could possibly have a MMPR reunion special. I'm putting a big question mark near that. And we also have the last half of Dino Fury season 2 to certainly look forward to. So I do think big things are coming. I just think it's going to take some patience. And just kind of see how the tide continues to turn when it comes to Power Rangers. Good old Nicole says, I read the interview and I love that JDF defended Austin St. John about his situation and said that people make mistakes. We shouldn't let the bad choices alter our enjoyment of Power Rangers. And Jason, I completely agree. Again, it's one of those things, innocent until proven guilty. I have no idea whether or not ASJ certainly said it. One of the things that we mentioned before is like, sometimes I've met the guy before. He seems like an awesome dude based off of the things that he's done in his past, saving lives, being a paramedic overseas during the wartime and stuff, right? I mean, that feels like a good dude to me. I don't know him personally, but that's not to say that we don't make mistakes, that we don't fall into traps, or that temptation doesn't overcome us from time to time. It happens. Again, this isn't me. I'm not preaching to the choir, ASJ, innocent, free this man. I don't know the circumstances that he's certainly in. I'm just saying that I completely agree that we shouldn't let bad choices alter our enjoyment of Power Rangers and the Jason character, especially as a whole. So I appreciate those thoughts, Nicole. Good old Mikey in the house. What's up, man? He says MMPR caster drama queens. Let's see here. Escaroma in the house. Adam Perez says, if JDF were to return anywhere for the 30th anniversary of the special or season, do you think he will be the same Tommy from Dino Thunder or Ninja Steel? I need some fans. I know some fans did not like the Ninja Steel Tommy. Probably, I think it's probably the Ninja Steel Tommy, honestly. I know that sucks to say, but Datilla in the house. Hey, Adam just came by to say hi and leave a like. Get your tissues. Get your tissues, Datilla. All right, guys. Blossom says he's sexier in gold than he is in red. I'm assuming, are you talking about Austin St. John? And Mikey says, how do you retire from a company you don't even work for? Talking about JDF. That's fucked up. We can't even fire you, bro, because you don't even work here. I love it, man. I love it. But yeah, again, shout out to JDF. I understand people are definitely gonna have their reasons for hating JDF, but I've never hated JDF, man. I appreciate everything that he's done. I appreciate him always being a fantastic advocate and voice for Power Rangers. And thank you very much for all the years of service and doing your best to continue to keep Power Rangers relevant after all this time. It definitely is appreciated and certainly goes a long way. And he was always one of my favorite Power Rangers growing up as a kid, especially. So thank you very much for your years of service, JDF. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the live chat or the comment section box below. And we've got ourselves a couple of tokusatsu topics that we're going to go ahead and tackle real quick as well before we move on to our next our live viewer questions. I think we got like 3 or 4 live viewer not live viewer questions topics left. We're going to go ahead and try and make some of this rather quick and then get into your guys' live viewer questions. My next transition, we'll dive into the world of Kamen Rider, because Kamen Rider, even though Revice is currently still on the air, apparently Toei is getting ready for a brand new series. It's trademark time, guys. It's around that time. What is June, right? They usually hit us with new trademarks. I can't remember when we usually get new trademarks for Super Sentai. We're way too early in the Super Sentai for me to even be thinking about that right now. But since Kamen Rider Revice is very much well through its season and certainly continuing towards the end, again, the first trademarks have in fact been released here by Toei. It does say this is from. Let me go ahead and I'll pull this up for you guys so you can get a better look at it. This information comes to me from Tokusatsu Network. It says Toei application for a new Kamen Rider under the name Kamen Rider Geats has been approved via the Japanese Intellectual Property Database. Toei filed the trademark on May 30th with the Japanese Patent Office. It says this series will mark the 4th Kamen Rider entry in the Reiwa era. And I'm kind of curious to know how you guys have appreciated or enjoyed the Reiwa era that we have so far. I believe we had 0-1, if I'm not mistaken. We wound up getting Saber, and then we wound up getting Revice, and now we're planning on getting Kamen Rider Geats here. So out of the 3 that we've had in regards to the Reiwa era, which Kamen Rider has certainly been your favorite, and have you enjoyed sort of this era of Kamen Rider? So again, I'm not sure exactly when these new Kamen Rider series wind up dropping, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of information for us to certainly continue to get. Will be the next series for Kamen Rider. Outside of just the name, we really have no other information, no character descriptions, no synopsis or anything like that, unless something drops this past weekend or this weekend as we're live, or even tomorrow. We'll definitely keep you guys posted. And if anything, let me just say this too. For those of you wondering in regards to my tokusatsu side of things for Power Rangers, since of APlus Morphinominal, since we are taking the channel down again, Donbrothers, or not taking the channel down, but we'll stop creating APlus Morphinominal content. Donbrothers will continue on this channel until this series is in fact completed. But when it comes to other tokusatsu stuff too, while I'm not necessarily bringing tokusatsu over to APlus Hero Report, I am trying to figure out other ways to still get my thoughts and discussion topics out to you guys, whether that be a part of the Discord. Maybe that might actually be doing some Twitter spaces for some audio stuff for you guys in regards to giving my thoughts for like an Ultraman Decker. If maybe I can get Stuart to maybe do something for Kamen Rider Geats going forward, since we mutually agreed not to review Kamen Rider Revice on our channel this past year. But I wouldn't mind getting back into Kamen Rider Geats, but maybe more in the Twitter space or Discord side of things. But yeah, guys, definitely have something to look forward to with the next installment of Kamen Rider. But we'll definitely keep you guys posted. So if you're not following us on social media, please do so. You can find us right there, APlus Opinions, at all different types of social media to go ahead and be caught up. All right, let's see here. You guys did have some comments for Kamen Rider Geats. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. JB says, what says, I never got into Kamen Rider. I think 01 might be a great starting point. I'm not sure if you've started or checked out Kamen Rider 01. I thought it was a really great starting point. I don't know, I can't remember exactly how the season ended, but maybe dabbling into Kamen Rider, maybe give 01 a shot. Blossom says the sooner Revice ends, the better. Ouch. um, you also say, I can't wait to find out what Geats is about. Hopefully, it's as cool as Saber. Yeah, I wonder if there's any like, um, sometimes when we get new Super Sentai series, we usually have the real Matt Hunt that'll try and break down the meaning of it. I do wonder, like, what the meaning of Geats is. Is it like between gears and something else, right? Like, I kind of wonder what that's all about. Kamen Rider Saber is my absolute fave. Books and swords are the coolest. Plus, Toma is totally hot, says Blossom. Well, I know you're extremely creative, L'Oreal. Like, I know you draw, you write. I mean, you do a little bit of everything. So Saber is probably like right up your alley. I totally understand that. Enrique says his Kamen Rider Geats will be revealed on the magazine scans in July. Perhaps, maybe. I don't know when they start revealing that type of stuff, magazine scan wise, but possibly. Blossom says, I hope they have a driver that has the morph with crayons. I love it. I love it. You use as personally one of my favorites. Kamen Rider is Gaim. I feel like it would be a good start. Yeah, maybe check out Gaim. I know I checked out Gaim. Was that the one with like the fruit locks and stuff? I honestly couldn't get into Gaim, or however they're pronouncing it. But maybe you might have better luck than me. Red is not a flavor says, what's up, Adam? Sad this will be the last stream on this channel. I already subbed to Hero Report. Thank you very much, Red is not a flavor. Again, check out APlus Hero Report, guys. There is a link in the description box below if you want to go ahead and subscribe to that channel. We go live every Sunday at noon Central Time, live every Sunday noon at Central Time. And then we have reviews and videos and things like that throughout the week as well. Let's see here. Tarek says, Adam, do you drink Corona beer? I love it. Bud Light, Modelo, Heineken, etc. In the Philippines, we have our own version of Corona called San Miguel. Oh, okay. That sounds. I like the sound of that. Hey, I don't mind Corona. I definitely will drink Corona. If anything, though, I don't really like to drink Corona straight. If anything, I usually like to add definitely salt and lime to my Corona. Even if I can't get salt, as long as I can add a lime to my Corona, I'm solid, man. I'm solid. Carter says, I don't have any other shows to watch at the moment while Dino Fury is on hiatus. Should I check out Donbrothers? Is that good? I heard the previous series wasn't that good for some people. Check out Donbrothers. 100% recommended here. It is completely different from what the same like tone and vibe and atmosphere of Gokaiger. It's been stellar. It's been stellar. I can't gush enough about Donbrothers. So if you are looking something to hold you over, Donbrothers for sure. All right, let's see here. Let's move on to our next topic. And this one will be in regards to, we're gonna go ahead and jump over to some Super Sentai content for you guys real quick, because I will say this: while I necessarily wasn't the biggest fan of Gokaiger, me and Gokaiger definitely have a very love-hate relationship. There were some aspects that I truly enjoyed. Others I really could have done without. I mean, sometimes this series was rather annoying, but one of the enjoyable aspects of it was certainly good old Zox Gold Tweaker, good old Twokaiser himself. I always love me a great pirate themed anything when it comes to Super Sentai. So the fact that Zox, along with his sister Flint, shine so well on Gokaiger made this news that we're going to get into so much more fun for me, especially because one of the things that I always wanted to see in Gokaiger that I never got the opportunity to, especially when you introduce a pirate of all things, we're the Gokaigers. Like, you just can't introduce a pirate on Super Sentai and not make some sort of connection to Gokaiger. And so even though we didn't necessarily get it in the series itself, it seems very much as though the Tokusatsu fan club is coming through once again to go ahead and give us a fantastic special, as it looks like we've got ourselves a Twokaiser Gokaiger movie certainly headed our way, guys. It looks like it's set to go ahead and hit cinemas, or at least on the Tokusatsu fan club here on June 5th. So this weekend, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. So we do have, here's a proper banner for it if you guys want to check it out for yourselves. And I've gushed about a lot of the content that the Tokusatsu fan club has created. We've done reviews for the Yodana special around here. We did a Real Soldier special too. I think it was the Memory of Souls or Souls of the Memory or something like that with the Nada episode. We even wind up doing the other Real Soldier was the Legacy of Masters fan club, like 2 or 3 parter that they did. They've just been dropping some stellar content. And so the fact that they're announcing a Twokaiser Gokaiger movie or crossover here, I'm completely on board. So let's go ahead and get further details because I do believe, if anything, there is a trailer attached to this also. This information from me comes, I don't know if this is going to share audio. Sure, why not? Let's go to the Twokaiser. This is from tokunation.com. Says Twokaiser and the crossover special announced. The Toei Tokusatsu fan club has revealed a unique new crossover project between the world pirate Twokaiser from Zenkaiger and the space pirates in Gokaiger. Let's go ahead and pull this up. Oh, somebody's getting married? What the hell? Who's Oh, look at that. They got engagement rings. It says titled Twokaiser X Gokaiger, the June bride is a Tanuki. This new adventure features Twokaiser Zox and in shock over his sister Flint's impending marriage and encountering the legendary Captain Marvelous. It says Marvelous is working to discover the secret of fellow pirate him and her recent marriage. Rounding out the cast is Junya Aikida, reprising his iconic role as Gokai Silver. So we've seen both of these 2 characters already. So we've kind of seen these 2 characters already, at least returning Captain Marvelous and Gokai Silver in the most recent 10 Gokaiger movie, which I absolutely loved. We did do a review for that also over on their channel. But it seems as though Flint has an impending marriage and encounters Captain Marvelous, who is working to discover the secret of fellow pirate him and her recent marriage. So the ladies of both pirate groups certainly are getting married. I am curious as to where Luca's marriage is certainly at. The idea of Luca getting married is black, though. So it looks pretty fun. It looks like we got a little bit of a marriage debacle here between the two teams. I am kind of curious as to exactly what's going on there in regards to everything overall. But not too bad. Cute little trailer. I'm sure we'll probably get maybe another trailer, if that. But listen, I will say this. The Toei Tokusatsu fan club stuff has really not ever let me down. I'm a huge fan of Captain Marvelous. This man certainly can't do any wrong. And the actor that plays Captain Marvelous is also going to be at Power Morphicon this year as well. So if you haven't booked your tickets to Power Morphicon, definitely do yourselves a favor, get the opportunity to go ahead and certainly meet him firsthand, as I think that's a super rare pickup for Power Morphicon. So some great things to certainly look forward to, man. But Twokaiser and Gokaiger will in fact be dropping on Toei Tokusatsu's fan club. So definitely go ahead and let me know your levels of excitement for that. Blossom says, I never thought I'd see a Sentai Ranger engaged. Absolutely. We got Francois says, so cool that Twokaiger will be popping up with the Gokaiger crew. He really was a representation embodiment of Gokaiger in Zenkaiger. Absolutely. And that's one of the things one of the reasons why I was always so confused as to why they never bumped into each other during this season, especially when we had Twokaiser and Flint actually go back to Pirate World towards the end of the season. I for sure thought maybe a Gokaiger appearance would pop up somewhere. But the fact that they are at least giving us this now lets me know that they are at least paying attention to what some of the fans are certainly asking for. Doomsday says, I wonder who Flint's getting married to. It looked like that monster that we saw in the very beginning. They both had their engagement rings up. How that works, I have no idea. Is she under a spell? Is her and a him both under a spell? The fact alone that Captain Marvelous is trying to figure out a secret of a hymns based off of her just recently getting married, it's like, does he not think a hymn is like marriage worthy? Or I'm curious if the person that she is marrying, Captain Marvelous is kind of wary of. He just seems like the overprotective dad now at this point. But who certainly knows? I'm looking forward to it regardless. Gokaiger is the last Sentai series I loved. Everything after that series has been mid, in my opinion. I definitely understand where you're coming from in that regard, Dread, for sure. I've had some that I've really enjoyed. I don't know if I've loved as much as Gokaiger. I think Donbrothers has that ability to do that for me. But my other favorite ones that I think are like not Gokaiger tier for me, but just under it is definitely like a Go Buster series. Kara Major for me also was one of them. So those are some of the ones that I would definitely put under there. I'm trying to figure out Lupin Pat for me. I don't know where I would put that as of yet, but those are the four that have really shook me and left a quite an impression on me. Gokaiger, Go Busters, Kara Major, and now Donbrothers for sure. Enrique says, in the trailer, I saw Flint holding the Twokaiger Ranger key. I hope that she transforms. I can't remember if I remember seeing set photos of maybe she does, or there have been rumors for quite some time that she would maybe get the opportunity to turn into a Ranger herself. So maybe we get the opportunity to see that. Tarek says, "Do you think Twokaiser will explain why his suit looks like Gokaiger?" Maybe. I am kind of curious. I would think that maybe Gokaiger himself, or Captain Marvelous, I should say, would maybe ask him that question, like, "Hey, where did you get these powers from?" Right? Like, it would be cool if even Zox introduced the Gokaiger team to the pirate world. Like, I think that would be pretty cool. Um, Yu says, personally didn't really enjoy Zenkaiger. Should I finish Zenkaiger before watching Donbrothers? Also, I don't like how I'm older than the actress for Only Sister. um, I am curious once we get further into Donbrothers if they'll have even more connections to Zenkaiger. I almost feel like you don't at this point have to finish Zenkaiger in order to fully enjoy Donbrothers. While Kaido is really the only connective tissue, and I think Jurin from time to time, but that's mostly just in Zord battles. Um, I feel like there's more to Kaido's story that he's certainly not letting on. That might have some connective tissues to Zenkaiger, but as of right now, I don't think you need to have seen Zenkaiger in order to enjoy Donbrothers, or at least have seen how it wraps up. Having completed the series, but that could change by the end of Donbrothers, for all I know. Tarek says, "Are you gonna miss doing Simon Says?" Yeah, absolutely. Kurt says Flint shares the same name as Flint from Jungle Fury. First time in Sentai where names are similar to Power Rangers. That's pretty cool. Tokuger. Yes, thank you for bringing Tokuger up. That is, yes, that is my next. That is one of my other favorites. That's probably up there in my greats. That's probably up there on my greats. And like if I had to put it up there with Gokaiger, Don Brother, Tokuger is up there with me as well in regards to that type of tier level stuff. Michael Rhymes says, just wondering, you're able to remember so many character names from Super Sentai, but for Power Rangers, sometimes you can't. Yeah, man, it's I don't know. I feel like sometimes I have my issues with names. I feel like I pronounce names horrendously wrong when it comes to Super Sentai, and then I forget Power Ranger names. Absolutely. Red's Not a Flavor says this is your last stream. Tell us about some of your favorite moments, regrets, disappointments, successes on this channel. Regrets, disappointments. I think the idea of juggling two channels definitely had me more in wait and see mode than actually focus and putting my attention to it, because I always wanted to create a new logo, a new video introduction, a new banner for this particular channel. Unfortunately, I just never got around to it. So sometimes I definitely felt very much stretched thin in regards to being able to get things done. Regrets in not being able to get more interviews, reaching out to people like Simon Bennett and other Rangers to certainly have them sit down. Not to say that we're not going to do that on Hero Report. There definitely are some people I certainly would like to bring on the Hero Report to still do reviews or interviews with, I should say, when it comes to the Power Ranger community. So definitely more opportunities there. But favorite moments, man, my favorite moments are just being on here live each and every week. I've had a blast. I mean, having SD come in, give some shout outs, Campbell Cooley come in, just give some shout outs while we're doing our live stream and stuff. All that stuff really kind of left great impressions on me. We've had some really great videos that we've put together. The Hasbro and Toei potential split video is always one of my favorites putting together. Our prediction video of Power Rangers going over the Netflix type of thing. I've always really enjoyed putting content like that together. So some really great things that have certainly happened here at APlus Morphinominal. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic here for you guys. I've jumped around a little bit, so bear with me here. We will go ahead and continue in regards to Super Sentai as Donbrothers continues to be in the news here this week, as it seems as though the sixth Ranger has in fact been revealed in toy images. Now, this comes to us from the Illuminerdi. I've also seen it over online. RangerCommand.com, Ranger Board have posted some videos. The real Matt Hunt has certainly talked about this as well. But we do have ourselves a sixth Ranger that's been revealed in toy images. So let's go ahead and break these down and see exactly what type of toys are we getting, and what exactly can this sixth Ranger do. So let's go ahead and dive into this again. This is also, hold on, let me stop sharing this. Okay, I just want to make sure that okay. So it says the sixth Ranger of Donbrothers has been revealed as toy images of his figure, his changer, and weapons have been released. The new Ranger has been announced to have the ability to change between gold and silver armor. That definitely reminds me very much of Lupin X, the gold and silver Ranger from Lupin Pat versus Pat Ranger. He too had the ability to go ahead and transform between gold and silver. It was a great transformation, honestly. It says so he will have the opportunity, the ability to change between gold and silver armor while wielding a spear to axe morpher, which allows him to transform using his personal Avataro gears. Like Damo Montaro, he will also have an alter form accompanied by a Sentai alter representing the Ninja team. So this is some photos here that we get the opportunity to see. He goes from his gold mode over to his silver mode, where it looks like the gold mode has more of a dragon motif with some red highlights, and the silver is very much more a tiger motif. And you look to see. So I love the idea of it just being the one character, and you can switch out. You can actually switch out his armor and his henshin sequences. So you do get the opportunity to see where he goes in regards to the two different forms that he certainly has. Um, It says Avatar Donbrothers began with 5 Rangers slowly debuting. It says the team is based off of the folktale of Momotaro and uses past Sentai as part of his arsenal. Along with the administrator Zenkaiger Black, the team fight against Hitatsuki, who are created from a person's greed and obsession. It says the 6th Ranger is one of the highlighted reveals in any Super Sentai season after the core team and the main Megazord debuts. And they also point out, too, much like Lupin X and Patoran X, Donbrothers 6th Ranger can change forms and be gold and silver. This means that the Ranger will adapt themselves to the situation and will have different fighting styles depending on the form they are in. And they also mentioned Twokaiser. That's right, because once not his super modes, but he did have another form as well where he was able to tap into like O Ranger and even his Shinkinger abilities as well. I do recall that. It says the new Ranger is known as Don Dragoku, Don Dragoku in his Gold Ranger form, and then Don Torobolt in his silver form. So we've got Don Dragoku and Don Torobolt in his silver form. As heard in rumors of the 6th Ranger, is now official confirmed that the motifs will be a dragon and a tiger, respectively. Each Ranger form will also have its own Avataro gear, which will grant a different helmet and armor plating based off the selected form. Okay, so he does have 2 different gears to go ahead and transform into that, along with his Avataro form, which we've seen. When I think of the Avataro forms, I think of the SD brothers from Gokaiger. Those little animated forms. We've seen Don Momotaro transform into that. It seems as though he's going to have one of those modes as well. The Ranger is dominantly gold, but is given red details on the dragon helmet with the golden armor shield as Don Dragoku. There's still use of the glasses on the visor, but a form of line art is used for the 2 animal designs. So here are his weapons. We got morphers. It says the charger for this 6th Ranger is also the primary weapon and can change form depending on the form of the 6th Ranger chooses. This Sentai morpher is called the Rikonogeki, which is a spear mode for Don Dragoku, and an axe for Don Torobolt. So this is his morpher. That's a pretty badass spear. I'm not gonna lie. I see exactly where the gear goes to go and henshin. So it goes from the gear, from the spear, which I'm loving the helm, the face of the dragon on there, and you get the opportunity to see him blowing the flames a little bit. Oh no, why did this turn blue on me? And then so that's it goes from the spear, and then it looks like the spear tip turns downward and then automatically becomes an axe. I mean, that's just a slick transition, bro. And then you see the dragon on the spear actually changes to a tiger once it becomes an axe mode. That is such a badass combination weapon there, man. I absolutely love that. So that's a great insight in regards to what the morpher can certainly do. And there's also a second page here. Let's see what the second page looks like. Additional weapons associated with the tiger form. Another weapon also used by the Donbrothers also will be used to carry the gears that the Rangers will use. The Tigardra is held on the left arm of the Ranger in both forms and is also used to store the Ranger's gears instead of the belt buckle. Oh, like the Zanglass sword and Dawn Blaster, this tiger-based shield can link with the Ryuko, whatever that's called, for another feature. So this is pretty cool. So this is like a holder that they get the opportunity to use to put the other gears in, and it looks like you can easily rotate it to maybe access different parts. I mean, that's a killer combination there to go ahead and be able to link up and use those other Sentai gears if they certainly want to. 6th Ranger has alter forms like the Red Ranger as well. Don Drago And Tora Bolt will also have an alter mode, which only the Red Ranger Dama Motaro is able to become for combining with alters based on past Sentai Zords. This Ranger has two forms, like Danmo Motaro or Alter, except they have a dragon mode instead of a peach form. So here's his, it says the green is certainly different compared to the original color of the Ranger. So here's his other alter forms here, I'm assuming. Oh, that's pretty cool. It looks like he literally can turn into a dragon when he turns into his alter form. So he looks like he could turn into a dragon and then that, like in human form, and then actually turn into the dragon itself. And it looks like he's also getting some Shinken upgrades here from Ninja. So go ahead and put those two together and give him an even bigger upgrade. And it looks like even Dama Motaro can certainly use that for himself also. So some really great upgrades, man. Really great upgrades. They do reveal the character for us here too. So if you want to get a better glimpse of what the character looks like, this is in fact the Sixth Ranger. It says the person who will become the Sixth Ranger has been revealed to be called Miwawari Jiro, who will be played by Raizo Ishikawa. Due to the events that led to the team having to fight without Taro Momo, he will be the temporary leader of the team and hopefully bring Taro back. The backstory has yet to be revealed for this character, but he will be making his debut in episode 14 of the Donbrothers series. And that's the debut image of the character. So that is one of the characters. So look, I'm not going to spoil Donbrothers for you guys right now, but based off of what just happened in last week's episode 13, our Donbrothers are a little bit without a leader at the moment. I won't explain to you as to why. So this is pretty interesting in the sense of when the leader is away, the Sixth Ranger shows up and all of a sudden kind of becomes the team leader here. I will be interested to kind of see how he works alongside the rest of the team, honestly, and just the kind of impression that he certainly will be leaving on the team, and just how they react to the idea of like, what, so this guy just thinks he can come in and be in charge sort of thing, which is some of the personalities that we have between Saru brother, Oni sister, even Kiji brother himself. The idea of just some random person coming in and all of a sudden being the leader. I am kind of curious to see how he plays into the role of things, and if Jin, the guardian, if you will, in this series, if he has any insight to let us know exactly like what the Sixth Ranger's role and purpose is and why he belongs here. So I'm fascinated by it, man. I continue to be hella impressed with Donbrothers. If if Gokaiger was a series that definitely gave you some worry, as worried as I certainly was going into Donbrothers, 12 13 episodes in, they have definitely quelched those concerns. The fact that we've got ourselves a brand new writer who comes from the time period of past Super Sentai series, as this guy originally wrote Jetman, if I'm not mistaken. He's definitely brought his expertise to writing to this series, and I've been absolutely in love with Donbrothers. So this week, I'm assuming episode 14, the Sixth Ranger debuts, and I certainly cannot wait to see him in action, ladies and gentlemen. But let me know your thoughts in regards to all the reveals that we wind up having. Blossom says wicked weapon. I totally agree. Doomsday says that Morpher, well, I'll be damned. It looks great, doesn't it? I love that Morpher from spear to axe. Man, I can't wait to see how they wind up utilizing this. Let's see here. John says I can clearly see the helmet of the sixth Donbrother Ranger. Danny says just me, but I think Super Sentai has been overusing gold, silver Rangers for a few years now since the Ninja. Same with Power Rangers. But yeah, I would agree, but I think that you still make their six Rangers pretty fascinating, at least enough for me. So I'm usually always on board, honestly. Roberto says, I think SPD was the first time we had a Six Ranger who wasn't gold or silver Power Rangers wise. You might be right. You might be right. I would always like them to eventually switch up the Six Ranger to be a different color, but they do love them some gold and silver. I'll tell you that. As long as you can make some really cool designs, I'll take it. Edward Sanchez Productions in the house. Coolio. Thank you very much, man, for certainly coming through. Adam Perez says, when do you think part 2 of Dino Fury season 2 will come out? I still say August. Let's see here. Carlos says, so unfair that Super Sentai keeps giving us stuff, but Hasbro takes so long with Power Rangers. Well, look, I will say this: one, merging with another company or purchasing a product, that it has definitely been a couple of years for sure. I do think had Brian Goldner still been alive and been with us today, rest his soul, rest in peace, Mr. Brian Goldner. We probably would have had more push on in regards to Power Rangers. So Hasbro has definitely had its fair share of hiccups and certainly maybe some bumps in the road. But when I look at Super Sentai, even though Toei is doing a fantastic job in creating sort of great additional content for Super Sentai, especially on its Toei Tokusatsu fan club, they're not necessarily in the mix of creating big budgeted films and having to create these big, massive, interconnective universes in here. So Hasbro definitely feels like they have a lot more on their plate per se than Hasbro. I mean, than Toei certainly does at this point in time. So I can understand why it certainly has taken them a little bit longer to do things than it does, say, Toei. It's just two completely different companies, if you ask me, at the end of the day. And then last but not least, guys, the last topic real quick we'll get into before live viewer questions. Ultraman Decker is back in the news. It's going to be here before we know it. I believe the series drops in July 9th. The new Ultraman series will be on board, and we've got ourselves yet another character breakdown for you, as we got a new cast member here that's set to go ahead and join the Guts Select team. So let's go ahead and dive into this real quick and give you our thoughts and give you an idea who this new member is. Ultraman Decker has cast Masaya Kikawada to the cast. You might recognize him. It says Masaya Kikawada is joining the cast of Ultraman Decker as Taiji Murahashi, captain of the newly referred Guts Select team. Miyazawa has previously acted in Kamen Rider the First and Kamen Rider the Next as Takeshi Hongo. So if you guys are Kamen Rider fans, you might have seen this gentleman before. But the character himself, Taiji Murahashi, he's 38 years old. I'm going to pull this up here too. Oops, wrong person. There we go. So he's 38 years old. He is a former flying ace and a calm captain of the Gut Select team. This makes sense as to why we had a co-captain announced last week. This is the other captain in Taiji, 38, former flying ace and calm captain of the Gut Select team. He takes off his glasses when angry, but never loses his smile. So I think we'll probably see plenty of that this season, of when he needs to get serious, taking off his glasses. His wish to protect the countless precious things of the people of Earth. This is what the actor himself says. He had a quote in regards to being announced as part of the cast. He says, "Hello, I am Masaya Kikawada, chosen to play the role of the new Gut Select captain, Taiji Murahashi. This is my debut to the world of Ultraman, and playing a role as central as the captain is a joyous thought, but at the same time, a sobering thought too. In a word, my role is about love," Kikawada wrote. "It is precisely because the world is as chaotic as it is now. The cast, the crew, and I are all coming together to create something that will deliver hope and love to all. Please join Captain Taiji Murahashi in watching over the growth of his young crew. May we all discover our own precious things." I love this quote. I truly do. I love the fact that he recognizes the chaoticness in this world. And I do think that Ultraman does a fantastic job of really giving us some really great content to certainly enjoy in regards to tackling those type of issues, and really giving us just like not necessarily a fun loving, but just a much more appreciation for the world that we live in, I feel like. But yeah, Ultraman Decker premieres July 9th, ladies and gentlemen. But yep, this is in fact our new cast member joining Guts Select. But yeah, guys, go ahead and certainly let me know your thoughts in regards to the new Ultraman Decker. So remember, July 9th, guys. July 9th. I'm assuming, if anything, it'll probably be simulcast. What's up, Sidri? Sai says there's an additional article they released about Decker's music themes. If you haven't seen it, I believe it's on the Tokusatsu Network top at the top of the page. Yeah, I haven't dived into that. Maybe they do. I haven't seen it per se. I was a really big fan of Ultraman Triggers. I was a big fan of Ultraman Triggers theme music. Yeah, it says Ultraman theme song artist announced. On June 2nd, Subaraya Productions announced the music artist performing the opening and ending themes of Ultraman Decker. In addition, Kinichiro Suhiro and Masahiro Takuda will be composing the music of the series. He's worked on notable animes such as Cells at Work and Re Zero, starting life in another world. So yeah, he definitely has some opening title is called Wake Up Decker. So yeah, man, they got some great music certainly headed our way, to certainly say the least. But thank you very much, Sai, for that update. I appreciate it. All right, guys. With that out of the way, I think that will round up all of our topics today. And it's time to get into some live viewer questions, guys. Because trust me when I say we've got plenty. So let's see how many we can certainly get into today. I'm going to try and fly through some of these. I'm not even going to look to see like how many questions I have. I might just jump around though. JK Lawrence, is it cool and refreshing that Void Knight Tarek had pretty much been the main villain since Dino Fury started, and that Santora, the Void Queen, is now the main villain 11 episodes in? Yeah, I always enjoy that sort of transference of power, but based off of where we're at now towards the end, it seems very much like they're on an even level playing field, maybe, with Void King and Void Queen being quite the duo. He says, I don't remember the last time we had a very consistent villains that didn't always change throughout this series. What do you think if by the time we reach the end of Dino Fury, Tarek does get his happy ending with getting Santora back, and maybe by then he gets the flashback episodes of their life together before the events? I still really, regardless of what his ending is, I definitely want to get Tarek's flashbacks with Santora. I do think that there's a really compelling story there to certainly be told, and I'm a sucker for a great flashback sequence. So yeah, I definitely want to learn more, regardless if he gets his happy ending or not. I think they probably will be a happy ending somewhere, but how that will play out, that I don't know. Jack Daniel says, you know how we've had some really bad seasons of Power Rangers in recent years. When you watch their Japanese versions, do you feel reminded of bad Power Ranger seasons when you see the costumes? I heard many people get a sour taste every time they watch the pirate themed Super Sentai and all they can see are Power Rangers Super Mega Force. Really? No, you got to learn to separate the two, man. Like don't do your mind and body a disservice by associating bad Power Rangers series with great Super Sentai ones. Don't let it taint you that way. Kurt Marino, do you think we'll ever get a full season where the Red Rangers is female? I do. Do I think it'll happen? Even if the new Has to Do universe doesn't take off, at least for a while. Well, we did have Lauren for our first good female Red Ranger. She was only on screen for 2 episodes because of Sentai. I do think that we will get a full season of a female Red Ranger, most definitely. And I think pretty soon, if not in the 30th anniversary, then definitely in whatever is being rebooted. How did you react back when you learned from an interview with Simon Bennett that he and the writers had received disturbing letters from angry fans during Beast Morphers? Look, it kind of made me sick to my stomach, the understanding of where people's thoughts are at. Sometimes I feel like maybe there just aren't, maybe just some people that aren't fully mentally capable, and maybe need some like further assistance in regards to how they navigate social media and stuff. And then some people are just haters and some people are just hateful, unfortunately, in this world. And social media just gives people that type of platform to be that way, unfortunately. So, but no, it was just disturbing and disgusting to me. And it's just one of those things that I just wish people would understand how to treat people with respect. And these are very busy people. They got things that they have to do with their lives. They're people just like us. I'm pretty sure we wouldn't appreciate people talking to us that way. So there's really no reason why we should talk to people that way at all. So I think it's just despicable, and it just doesn't. I just don't view you as a true fan if you're one of those people. You know what I mean? Jeffrey DeLuise, thank you very much. I appreciate it, Jeffrey. He says, I've watched your most recent video on a possible reunion special of MMPR, and I have a couple of questions. What do you think of the idea of some of the original team coming back? And do you think we will get some references to Trini, who was the original Ranger who tragically passed away 22 years ago? If it is for the reunion special, I do think that we will get some some Trini references. The idea right now is one of the characters, the new characters, Yen, that they might be trying to introduce. The Illuminati has confirmed that she's supposed to be the daughter of Trini. If the reunion special does come to fruition, I do think that that is probably what we'll probably be getting, some references in regards to Trini there for sure. My other question is, what do you think of the comic book series of Power Rangers when they were first introduced? And do you agree with some people that the comics aren't really that connected in canon to the actual TV series? All I remember in the comics is the three original Rangers became brand new Rangers, and the TV show did a bootleg version of the Evil Ranger of Tommy Oliver. Yeah, for the 25th anniversary, Lord something. I'm like, it sounded like Lord Draken, but it was something really ridiculous, like a Dollar Tree version of Lord Draken is what we wind up getting for the 25th anniversary. But um, I came into the Power Ranger content for comic books a little bit late, maybe not super late, but when it was really starting to pick up. I think for me, I did miss the first Lord Draken arc. I came in during Grace Sterling's storyline that was being told of Zordon's first Power Ranger team back in the 60s, I believe, and their mission to the moon. I think that was like the first Power Ranger comic I picked up, and all that stuff wind up leading into the great Kyle Higgins run with Shattered Grid, and then we got Beyond the Grid, and of course Ryan Parrott coming on and doing his amazing job for the comics. When I first started reading the comics, I definitely felt very much like they could be canon. Like I felt like there were places within the TV timeline where a lot of this stuff certainly could have happened. But I feel like that ship has really sailed, especially after the events of Shattered Grid. Like, I think you probably had me a little bit in the necessary evil type of stuff. But when we start tackling the idea of introducing a new Green Ranger, now introducing us to the Omega Rangers, it's a cool concept to think that, the peace conference students do come back. Like, I could see there being a place in the world and in continuity where all these adventures certainly do take place. But it does feel like over the recent maybe 2 years or so, they've maybe, if they were focused on trying to tell their stories somewhere within the canon timeline, it feels like they have since then just jumped the shark and just said, you know what, we're just going to piggyback off of the timeline and just create our own content and kind of go from there. And so I haven't really felt like it's fit into canon at all in quite some time, but it still works for me. I still think it tells some of the most compelling and greatest stories of Power Rangers that we've had in a really, really long time. So shout out to Boom Studios for also doing a great job of keeping Power Rangers relevant. We got a question from Alec. As an adult watching Power Rangers, how do some watch without constantly complaining about certain episodes? I know some people who always say that Power Rangers used to be serious and immature. Do you think that some adult fans now should at least keep an open mind when watching the newest seasons? If you want to watch serious and mature, those older seasons are still available online. And I absolutely agree with you. I mean, it's the same thing when it comes to other fandoms too. If there's something in your fandom that you don't like, there's always plenty in your fandom that you do like that you can always go back to and certainly enjoy and spend, instead of spending majority of your time complaining about something that you don't like. Okay, we get it. You don't like it. Go watch something else that you do love. That's part of the franchise. That's what I tell people all the time, especially in Star Wars fandom. Star Wars fandom is as toxic as it's gotten over the years. And it's just like there's something for everybody out there. But when it comes to Power Rangers, listen, we are getting to that age where there's almost really nothing else out there for Power Ranger fans besides just the older seasons and what we currently kind of have. So, one of the things that I've kind of come to learn is, when I watch these episodes, I definitely have to understand who the audience is, because the audience is 6-year-olds. So I automatically have to go into these episodes with a particular mindset that not everything in this episode is going to be for me, right? And so that's one of the reasons why I don't maybe harp on Power Rangers as much when it comes to like physical comedy. Like, I will complain about it when we do reviews. Like, I might say like, hey, the Jane and Jay Borg physical comedy this week, it just wasn't for me. I get the idea that I'm not necessarily the audience, but you got to put stuff like that in there for the kids for Power Rangers. So while it doesn't connect with me, I understand, and you definitely have to go into with an open mind, especially with us being adults. Like, we can't be adults and demanding that Power Rangers becomes more mature for the kid channel. Like, it's just not going to happen. What we can ask for is like, hey, if you are going to do some kid stuff, can you maybe push the envelope just a little bit? And I do think that's what Simon Bennett and the writers have definitely done from Beast Morphers, and they've definitely done it even further when it comes to Dino Fury for themselves. But you definitely always have to go into it with an open mind, appreciate the story for what it is, and decipher really what's not meant for you as an audience member and what certainly is, and take it with a grain of salt and appreciate it certainly for what it is. Again, not to say that you can't complain about it, but definitely don't nitpick. Like, for me, it's not something that will ruin an entire episode for me, you know what I mean? Let's see here. So thank you very much, Alex. I appreciate your question. Jericho, with recent rumors of or speculation from the Illuminati regarding the Return Rangers for the 30th anniversary with David Yost himself, for 44 episodes. I didn't hear the 44 episodes. And a new announcement of 3 MMPR veterans possibly confirmed to return. Do you think Hasbro can pull this off, especially since they obviously love MMPR? So again, to clarify, what Illuminati, I believe, was stating was the idea of David Yost definitely returning for either a full season or at least one episode in the 30th anniversary. He at least has plans as of right now to return for that. They also do have the MMPR reunion special, where again they have announced that they've sent out announcements, at least invites to past Rangers, the OG Rangers. Some have accepted, some certainly haven't. It is very much up in the air as to whether or not this will happen with the recent allegations towards Austin St. John. If he turns out to be innocent or guilty, this definitely will probably have a big impact on the reunion special. As far as 44 episodes, I don't recall them mentioning 44 episodes. I do recall them mentioning a 44-minute episode, as it feels like that might be what the MMPR special is. When I say reunion special, I do wonder if it's a 44-minute sort of one-off that maybe might lead into the 30th anniversary or be the tail end of a 30th anniversary. But yeah, again, just rumors and speculation as right now coming from their sources at the Illuminati. Once they get more detailed information, we'll definitely keep you posted. It feels like we get more details on a weekly basis around here. So, maybe Joe and the rest of the Illuminati might have some news for you guys this weekend. Let's see here. I'm just trying to check the live chat where you guys are at too. Let's see. Jack Daniel says Loretta Masters. You talking about the woman that does a fantastic job creating Power Ranger figures for a Lightning collection? Did she pop up in here? I was like, where'd Loretta Masters' name come from? Jack Daniels, are you the one drinking over there? But yeah, shout out to Loretta Masters, man. I miss having her on Fan First Fridays for Power Rangers and talking about Power Ranger figures and content. They need to get her back, man. She needs to be like the face of Lightning Collection, if you ask me. JB says, what? Says, I would like to talk to you once we get the remaining episodes of channel. Absolutely, bro. Nandita says the 1969 Rangers were super cool. Yeah, I really love that team. I was a really big fan of that team. All right. Let's see. What else are we guys saying here? Garrett Vergara. What's up, Garrett? Appreciate you coming through. What are some Sentai exclusive characters you wish made it to Power Rangers and unwritten rules? I know Power Rangers had a rule that only applied to MMPR team, that they can't use their powers to escalate a battle. Interesting. What are some Sentai exclusive characters? Oh, I will say this. I do wish Tyramigo from Rio Soldier was in here. There is something really cool about the idea of having like a robotic dinosaur that looks like Tyramigo walk around, but I guess they kind of just X that out and wind up giving us Solon instead, which was a great upgrade. Honestly, like I love Solon. The attention, the detail on the costume, the character's been a great addition to Dino Fury. Solon or Tyramigo. Give me Solon, definitely. But I think as a Super Sentai fan, that was always one aspect that I thought to myself, I think that would really go over well in Power Rangers. Like I was just thinking toy wise, kids would love the opportunity to have their own Tyramigo. Like, sometimes when I go into like Walmart or something, sometimes you'll see like the 3 or 4 foot tall like Darth Vader or stormtroopers. Give me like a 3 4 foot tall Tyramigo that I can go ahead and buy at, like, I was gonna say Toys R Us, but I don't think they have Toys R Us's anymore. That can buy for my kid. Maybe my kid can sit on his own Tyramigo or something like that. That's one thing that I've always would have liked to have seen when it comes to that. I even would have liked to have seen Loop and Pat adapted at some point in time. Just the Lupin X and Patreon X, I think would have been a really cool character also, but unfortunately we just didn't get any of those. But the Tyramigo is one that constantly comes back to me. Think to myself, man, I think it was like a missed opportunity. You know what I mean? And I don't know about unwritten rules, but I do remember we did just recently do an interview. Not we did an interview, but we highlighted an interview with the stunt coordinators of Power Rangers. And they talked about the idea of Rangers getting punched in the face, and that like they couldn't showcase that or something like that. So the different things that they had to do to kind of work around it, whether that be camera angles and stuff, right? Instead of punching in the face, punching in the stomach, or having them block it, sort of thing, but not having sort of like direct contact with the face, if you will. Just some really great insight into stunt coordinating and how they put their fights together that I hadn't even no idea that was part of like a rule of theirs, if you will. So some really great stuff. I think we highlighted that interview maybe like 2-3 weeks ago. You might still be able to find it, Garrett, in our past episodes. Um, Let me see. Adam Perea. He says, remember when the old seasons, the secret base of the Rangers get infiltrated by the villains and foot soldiers, even their Megazords get taken over? Would you like to see those again in future Rangers, even for a finale of Dino Fury, those moments that were always suspenseful and intense? I do think that we're going to get something like that. And again, this is just theory and speculation, but I do think that we might get something along those lines again. And what I mean by that is the sense of, we when we were doing the interview and the sit down conversation with the Illuminati, one of the theories that Dan from the book club had was the return of Lord Zed, and possibly the infiltration of Grid Battle Force. Considering that Grid Battle Force has their vault with a lot of weapons, I think the last time that we saw Lord Zed's staff, I think might have been in the vaults of Grid Battle Force. So one of Dan's theories from the fan club was that he thinks Lord Zed's going to infiltrate Grid Battle Force and make his way into the vault and get the weapons that he certainly needs. And I'm kind of thinking so. I'm kind of leaning that way. I would love to see it. I suggested the idea of giving us like a long unedited shot very similar to that of like the Daredevil hallway scene from Netflix. The idea of just seeing Lord Zed just go down these Grid Battle Force hallways, demolishing dudes left and right in order to go ahead and get to hit the vault. I would love to see the full power of Grid Battle Force try and take on Lord Zed. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm really hoping that it does. J.K. Lawrence. I don't want to be that guy, but do you agree that it is understandable that all of us are very hesitant and anxious for the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers? Absolutely. Both the 20th and 25th anniversary weren't really that great because of Saban and Nickelodeon creative control, like not putting enough effort, rushed episodes, and too much focus on Tommy. Scared that Hasbro might do the same thing, especially with how some of the fandoms see how they treat the franchise, mainly the toy side. They really need to go out with this 30th celebration since this is a grand finale of Power Rangers as we know it. I'm really sorry for asking this. You don't ever have to apologize for asking a question. I will say, I do think the toy side and the movie and television side of things are two completely different animals. So I do think that is something to be very aware of, but I get it. Trust me, I've said it all the time. While for me, I'm excited about the change and the new course that Hasbro has for Power Rangers, I do get the hesitancy, especially recently with again the ASJ stuff that came out. Does that mean we're not getting our reunion special anymore? The idea of, is Jonathan Entwistle even still connected to this Power Ranger reboot? Right, he dropped the Power Rangers from his official Twitter page, if I'm not mistaken. You guys check it out and see if he's put the Power Rangers back up there or not. And then the new CEO talking about the idea that it's not necessarily a priority right now, which I get the idea because they've got Dungeons and Dragons and Transformers that are set to release in 2023. You want your mind and you're focused on that, while at the end of the day, in the back, you're clearly still working on it and putting the pieces together for this particular reboot. So I see the flags. I see the red flags. I see the idea and the worry and the understandability when it comes to people being hesitant and anxious. Change is a very scary thing for a lot of us. And again, there's no guarantee that Hasbro will knock this out of the park. But I will say, again, from what I've seen with Hasbro since they've picked up Power Rangers, outside of the toy side of things, Beast Morphers was good. Really enjoyable for a lot of people. And Dino Fury has been spectacular. So, I think if they can bring back some of the same people that they did for the 30th anniversary, Simon Bennett, the cast and crew, we clearly know that the format for the 30th anniversary is going to be a little bit different, right? Only spending 4 to 5, maybe 6 weeks in regards to filming. So clearly not an entire full season. So I do think that they are doing things different and unique and maybe trying to bring things to us that don't necessarily feel like the 20th or the 25th sort of anniversary of Power Rangers. So I would just say keep an open mind, but I understand the hesitancy. I absolutely do, JK. Absolutely. Michael Rhyme says things Power Rangers did right or superior and botched over Super Sentai. I honestly don't think Power Rangers does too much to do right over Super Sentai. I just don't. Great stuff, don't get me wrong, but I feel like sometimes they have done it better. Super Sentai wise. Let me think on that, Michael, because I do feel like it's a pretty rare occasion for me. Roberto says, you know how Dino Fury made history by being the first Power Ranger series to have so many firsts, from Izzy, Ion. If the CW network had purchased Power Rangers after Ninja Steel, how do you think Warner Brothers would have handled these first in Dino Fury and Futures? Oh yeah, they would have did it in all the first seasons, most definitely too. CW is as progressive as it gets, man. I mean, the cast would have been diverse, not just racially, but sexually as well. I mean, you would have seen all different rainbows across the sun. That's for sure, man, when it comes to the CW network. So I think they probably would have done just as a good of a job, if not even more grown up than what like Dino Fury definitely tackled a lot of these firsts, but I think the CW probably would have tackled these and maybe even pushed the envelope even further. Nicole, let's see here. Hope you're all doing well. For the 30th anniversary, do you think whoever villain might be that we might get will be an all-original villain who has connection to Rita and Zed, like Thrax was in the Once a Ranger? If this 30th anniversary special and or season is done right, do you think this will make stubborn MMPR fans realize there are 28 seasons out there and will give them a chance? I think that they might stick with something that's worked. I think it might be somebody that we've seen before. I still question if Lord Zed makes it out of Dino Fury alive, and if so, maybe he is in fact the big bad for the 30th anniversary. It would be an extremely formidable foe, especially how he's been perceived in Dino Fury. Um, but I do think it'll probably be something recognizable instead of something brand new. But that's just me. That's just me. Francois, do you think some fans who watch Dino Fury are close-minded? They always compare Dino Fury to Neo Saban era, that it's more of the same garbage, or always lets the kid show mentality take over their mind when they watch. I remember some people in the live chat trashed Dino Fury for 2 weeks for just being another series, not holding the cake to on the candle to the Disney. Oh, not holding the candle to the Disney era seasons or mature seasons like Time Force. You yourself say that during the Jane and Jay Borg series, you remind yourself that the jokes in physical comedy are aimed towards kids, yet you praise when it's Mucus doing the physical comedies because Mucus is an alien. Yeah, for me, it's different. The physical comedy with Mucus, you have some great special effects that certainly work with him. So because of the fact that he's an alien, it works for me. The physical comedy, sometimes when I see the humans, I'm like, their body just can't. You just can't do that. Like it just. It takes me out sometimes, you know. And I do will certainly bring it up in that, you know, that it takes me out of the episode, or I'm just not necessarily the biggest fan of it. But I try and not allow it to affect how I watch the show or the episode overall, because I understand that moment is not necessarily meant for me, but it is in fact for the kids. You know, I don't wouldn't say people are close-minded, because look, it is a kid show after all, and maybe some people have just grown out of it. You know, maybe there are some Power Ranger fans that over the years have just become more cynical and don't enjoy it, or can't suspend their disbelief or imagination like they certainly used to. They could use a little Tokuger in their life, if you know what if you get the reference when it comes to imagination. But you know, I think for me, that's also something that has to be addressed by Hasbro, that your audience is getting older. If you want your Power Ranger franchise to succeed, you then have to create content for those Power Ranger fans that are not children any longer. And I think that's something that Hasbro recognizes, but that they also want to be able to get right. So while I do think some fans are a little bit close-minded than others, I would just say, hey, get your imagination points back up, bro. Like you need to really learn how to be a kid again at times. There are also a recognition that I understand that it is a kid show and we are adults, so it's not going to hit everybody that same way. And if it doesn't, I would say stop watching Dino Fury and just wait for Power Rangers to come out with something that is a little bit more mature for you, because it is around the corner, hopefully. um if Dino Charge as a whole was done by Hasbro instead of Saban, do you think the series itself would have been very different, even though we've had the same writers now on Dino Fury? I do think it would have been different. I definitely do. Maybe some things would have certainly stayed the same, but I think maybe the handling of it, I would be curious if Hasbro would have even tackled Dino Charge. I say that in the sense that while I, you know, they are tackling Dino Fury and certainly have wanted their own dinosaur series to make their own. You know, Dino Charge does have a huge cast, and I don't necessarily know if Hasbro would have tackled it. But even if they did tackle it, I do think we would have gotten a different series. I mean, the non handcuff creatively compared to how Saban would handcuff them writer wise, the fact that they're the same writers and they're giving us this better quality in Dino Fury, to me says Saban either didn't trust them or give them the opportunity to really show what they're capable of. So I do think Dino Charge would have been significantly better. And I'm a big fan of Dino Charge. I think season one was phenomenal, and I unfortunately fell off maybe like midway or early part of season two. But what we did get, I thought, from Dino Charge to begin with was pretty solid. Adam with the beer says, Carter, yeah, man, I'm slowing this one. I'm slowing this one. Mikhail, what did you think of Wild Wild West episode of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers when Kimberly went back in the time and met the ancestors of the team? What were the ancestors of the red, yellow, black Rangers the same actors? I mean, look, it's a kid's show. The budget, that never made sense to me. Yeah, I mean, the fact that your grandparents are exactly like look exactly like you. I mean, look, we all probably resemble maybe somebody from our family a generation or a couple generations ago, have some sort of features. But look, I mean, what are you gonna do, right? It was a series back in the 90s, a kid show. Hey, let's just dress up these actors and have them play their ancestors too. Like, I get it. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but I actually really enjoyed the episode. Um, they should have just done brand new episodes for the episode alone. I'm starting to wait for the lightning collections of these cowboy Power Rangers. Do they have them? I mean, we got the glitter costumes from MMPR. I do wonder if we'll get ourselves the cowboy costumes. But no, it is something that I definitely want to see, and I was a big fan of the Wild Wild West episode. It's a little ridiculous, but I enjoyed it. Gabriel, you said last week you talked about Hasbro reboot, specifically with Jonathan Entwistle seemingly removing himself from the project right after revealing the name of the Power Ranger movie. This is just me, but do you think it means the new CEO of Hasbro wants to do different things with the new reboot universe after seeing maybe the pitch or even the script of Jonathan Entwistle? Um, it's definitely a possibility. I haven't heard anything in regards to Jonathan Entwistle and Power Rangers since that wind up happening. If there are any further details after that, I'm not quite sure, but it certainly could be. Um, Brian Edward Hill is supposed to be the writer for this movie. Whether he's still attached to it or not, I'm not sure. Let me see if I'm gonna give me a minute here. I'm gonna pull up Twitter just for a minute and see what you got. What's if I can pull up. Let me see what I can pull up here. Let's see. I'm gonna go to Brian Edward Hill. Okay, let's see here. He still has he's got Power Rangers still listed on his so the writer still has his Power Rangers attached to his Twitter handle. When I go to Jonathan Entwistle's page, it still does not have Power Rangers on there. So who knows, man? Who knows? Do you think it means the new COO wants to do different things with the new reboot universe? Possibly, possibly. Again, I'll have to keep you up to date. I have not heard anything. You say, but maybe Hasbro decided to do David Yost's Quantum Continuum instead. I still feel very much like that's not happening as of right now. I do think that the momentum is certainly building. David Yost is certainly out there pushing it. I was very much under the impression that this MMPR reunion special, I was like, when it was first announced, I was like, oh shit, is this David Yost's Quantum Continuum? It's got all the pieces, right? David Yost was even highlighting weapons and stuff. But some little birdies are telling me, and again, even the JDF article that we talked about, saying that those are just rumors. Those are just rumors. It's not happening. I am starting to be under the impression that it's not happening. That this MMPR special is something significantly different than what David Yost is continuing to push. But hey, man, keep supporting it. If you want to see it, keep supporting it. Maybe it'll get to Hasbro and they'll actually do it. Abase, while I've shared my dislike of JDF and Tommy since I've been on here, I do apologize. It's just that the way he was written for the 20th anniversary was a huge WTF for me. And that's not JDF though. That's not on Tommy. Like that's not on JDF. That's on whoever wrote it. But if he were to return to the 30th anniversary, I hope it's not all about him. That would be my agreement with you for sure, Abase. I just don't necessarily need it to be all about him. As for the 30th anniversary special, I think that the other three Rangers who may return besides David Yost is Amy Jo and Walter Jones. I hope so. I hope those are the three. I don't think Austin and JDF will return if one of them keeps coming back, considering their beef people keep talking about. But if I had to put my money on it, I would think JDF because he does everything for free. Austin just came back for Beast Morphers, which was really wasted in my opinion. Yeah, I like for me, those are the three I personally would really like to see come back for, say, the MMPR special. If I had to have a JDF return, it would probably be for the so I would want the JDF to come back for the 30th anniversary special. I would like to see Amy, David, and Walter come back for the reunion special. Is how I would like to see it. John Schuyler, what do you think of few people online talking about Power Rangers SPD being stereotypically racist when Jack was a black Red Ranger who was a criminal? I think those people missed the whole point of Jack as a character. He and Z were both thieves because they were poor and they joined SPD to avoid prison. Being a Power Ranger changed Jack by the series finale. He decided to quit being a Ranger so he could go back to doing what he loved, helping the unfortunate. Being the SPD changed his life for the better since the first episode. So he did and found a relationship with a woman, Ali Samuels, who owned the company. He thought she was stealing from when he was off duty with SPD. This sort of connects back as to why Simon Bennett's point of why Rangers being cops in today's climate is very risky, besides there being too many Rangers in Lupin versus Pat Ranger. Well, the time periods are significantly different. You know, I get the idea of why they don't want to do it in the climate that we're in today compared to the climate that we were in during SPD. I don't really recall it being stereotypically racist when it comes to SPD. Maybe that's a series I have to go back and check on. But yeah, I'll have to look at the debate and see what's kind of going on. It's been a minute since I refreshed myself on SPD. Morgan Hutchinson, what were some wholesome moments in Power Ranger history? I always love the Steel and Nate stuff. If I can be more current, the Nate and Steel stuff was always really wholesome to me. I always really appreciated that. Um, I always go back to Tommy and Kimberly's moment together when they were talking about their feelings and relationship. I think they shared that kiss when they were in the park. That was also a really wholesome moment for me back in the day. I even love the embrace of the Lost Galaxy Rangers for their new Pink Ranger, especially after what happened to the past one and her death. The fact of having Corone come in and take up the mantle like that, and the team surround and believe in her. I was a really big fan of that. Any wish lists or predictions for the future of Power Rangers, like the new movie universe or even the 30th anniversary celebration? I think the 30th anniversary celebration will almost be on par with Forever Red if I had to take a prediction. I don't know if anything will ever top Forever Red, but as far as like enjoyable anniversaries or crossovers, I think this 30th anniversary will be in the top 10 for top three for sure. I'll say even the return of Lord Zed maybe in the 30th anniversary too. Any wish list or predictions for the future of Power Rangers or new movie universe? For me, predictions. I'll say starting off with a three-member team in the new universe. Female leader she'll probably be the Red Ranger. I would like to see the format changed. No Megazord fight each week. I really want there to be a significant build up to these big battles, if anything. So yeah, those are just some off the top of my head. Just some off the top of my head. Let's see here. What else are you guys saying? Patrick Martinez, thoughts on the Power Ranger series, Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers, and do you like that it was a mini series that took place? I did appreciate that it was a mini series that certainly took place. It did feel unique having a new team of Rangers, but it didn't do anything for me as a kid. I like the costumes. I always thought it was really cool. It's like, oh my god, we have like a little mini series in between the two series here, and I thought they did a really good job of introducing them, but it just never won me over that much. I think the reason why it didn't is because of the fact that our Power Rangers were kids at the time, and yeah, it was just a really weird vibe that I got from the Kid Rangers. I was never a big fan of Rangers as kids. Adrian Perez, since this may be your last live show on APlus Morphinominal, what were some of your fond memories and struggles since your old Opinions YouTube channel? Really, I think maybe the struggles, some maybe just my procrastination from time to time. And I would also say just the difficulties of navigating the damn um, copyright stuff when it comes to Toei. Um, Definitely some struggles in that regards from my last YouTube channel, A Plus Opinions, and really just trying to find a good balance of being able to use old footage, especially when it comes to my reaction videos that I certainly used to do on A Plus More Phenomenal and here on A Plus Opinions. Those definitely was probably my struggles in regards to procrastination at times, trying to find time to be here each and every weekend for you guys as much as I could. Unfortunately, my life has definitely changed within the last 6 to 7 months. So unfortunately, just can't do that like I certainly used to. But some really great fond memories, man. I've always had some really great topics and debates and some great questions with you guys here, and your support has been out of this world, honestly. How much have you enjoyed Power Rangers Dino Fury since it first announced? And to this point, which is the 11th episode of season 2? What have you learned from this series since the Neo Saban season? And what are you most looking forward to in the future of the franchise with Hasbro? And do you hope this journey will keep you motivated even more with your transition to Hero Report? Please do your opening intro for one last time. I definitely did the opening intro for you guys at the beginning, and you'll definitely get it towards the very end. But you know, um, I do think that this journey will definitely keep me motivated. I think now that I have A Plus Hero Report to just solely focus on, it allow me to make sure that my attention is directed towards something instead of feeling like I'm stretched thin, having to make decisions on both channels. I've really enjoyed Dino Fury. It's been pretty remarkable. Season 1 definitely has had some really great moments, but some filler. And, those are definitely the life lessons and stuff. But based off of how Dino Fury was written as a 22 episode series, and then thus made into having to expand to 44 episodes, there definitely has to be some filler and some great character development. And I thought season 1 was a great way for us to really get emotionally invested in the cast and crew. And I think they did a remarkable job there. And season 2 just feels to me like it's going to be balls to the walls, like action and really pushing the story forward. And I've really enjoyed the pacing and the bold takes and the uniqueness that Simon Bennett and the cast has certainly done so far. AJ in his wrap up of the last episode of Dino Fury. He says, I thought this was super dope. I love that both Chance Perez and Russell Curry had the most spotlight, and it was another amazing episode where we got to see Javi perform once again on stage, the plot being his rival Blair from episode 6, aka Megan. Jam Session stealing his song was very interesting, and later having Javi do a new twist on the song was incredible. I also love the subplot where we learned Void Queen turned Tarek into Void King, which was an excellent way to keep Jared Turner on the show for the rest of the series and for him to use the precious monster suit and footage from Rio Soji. Yeah, I thought that was actually pretty creative in regards to managing to adapt Sentai footage into Power Rangers. I thought they handled that really well. I saw this episode 15 times by now and still absolutely love it. The three judges at the Songathon named after Bennett and the writers Becca and Alwyn were really nice references. I missed that too, and I think somebody in the live chat when we talked about it the other week mentioned that to me. So I thought that was pretty cool once I learned about it. Zato using his Dino Knight armor again twice in the same episode was epic. Simon and the writers were genius when it came to using Sentai footage of Master Red and Co fighting each other with Master Red in the Battleizer. Yeah, for a moment, I honestly thought that was like original footage. It was just so clean and done so well. I don't know if it was a mixture of live action and Sentai footage, but it looked great. This was a fantastic way to make the Battleizer versatile by allowing another Ranger to use it, even opening doors for more brand new footage. To end off, this was an incredible episode, and I can't wait for the final batch of season 2. I give this 1,000 out of 1,000. Honorable mention, Mucus having a little dance number at the end was very similar to Star Search episode of Ninja Storm with Mara and Capri. Yeah, that's a great callback. That's a great callback. Sasha Vega. What's up, Sasha? I hope it's okay. I asked 2 questions. Feel free. Why aren't there any female Rangers with individual power-ups? I know other seasons of Power Rangers that had power-ups, but most of them are for the entire team. Yeah, it's something I would like to know also. Battleizers usually for the Red Rangers, and then all the other Rangers usually share kind of power ups, but nothing individual. I will say with Dino Fury though, we have had the opportunity to see the Pink Ranger in the blazing armor in original footage. And so while other Rangers do get the opportunity to use that same power up, I do kind of like the power ups and the armors that they can pick and choose to certainly wear whenever they want to, and sometimes it's just them kind of solo. So it's not quite what you're kind of looking for there, but close enough, Sasha. Close enough, I think. But yeah, I get what you're coming from. I definitely would like to see that. In Power Rangers SPD, I love that we had our first full team of Rangers who good but went to the dark side in their own free will. They were all original made Rangers for the series. I guess you're talking about the Alpha team. They were all original made Rangers for the series. Who had also We had also got introduced to our first on-screen female Red Ranger until a few years later with Lauren in Samurai. When did you realize before the reveals that the A Squad weren't really heroes? God, I don't know if I picked up on it on the first time of their appearance or not. But I think I felt like just their costumes alone, since they always look significantly different to me than SPD Rangers, I always thought like there could be more to them, but I don't even remember when it hit me. I can guarantee you that when I first saw them, I did not think that they weren't really heroes. Absolutely not, Sasha. Random question here. Nicole good asks, how's your son? He's doing great. I don't know if you guys can hear him. Sometimes he winds up screaming in the background. So yeah, maybe he's being a little fussy today, a little sassy. Mackenzie, what's up, Mackenzie? What do you think of the 2025 is just 3 years away? Do you think Hasbro will do anything special to celebrate Power Rangers SPD by the time we get to that year, or will they just ignore it and the fans will be the ones to celebrate it? Do you see Hasbro still owning Power Rangers by 2025? I do see Hasbro still owning Power Rangers 2025. By then, though, I think the past of the Power Rangers will be past us. So I don't expect Hasbro to celebrate an SPD anniversary season. I think if anything, the fans will probably have to do that on their own. I think they're probably looking towards the future. Do you agree that Dino Charge as a whole was such a good series overall compared to the rest of the Neo Saban era? I would agree. While I do think season two falters, it is the best of the seasons, I think, Neo Saban wise. Speaking of Neo Saban, why is that Samurai through Megaforce did not really have any comedy duos? While we did have Bulk and Spike, who is the son of Skull, they felt natural as the comedy that relieves, although they were often isolated from the rest of the Samurai cast. Yeah, they were always pretty well isolated. Even had Jason Narvi himself return as Skull for a small cameo at the end of Super Samurai, which is a huge surprise since Forever Red. Yeah, it was a great cameo. Why they didn't have I'm trying to think who they had as the comic relief then in Megaforce. I don't think it was a duo. I think it might have been the teacher though, the Einstein looking teacher, Miss Professor. I don't. Damn, I can't remember his name. I think he might have been the comedy of it. Honestly, let's see here. L'Oreal, what's up, L'Oreal? Wasn't Javi on his game in this episode or what? Plus, him playing his keyboard again was so freaking cool. When I heard about Void King, I was afraid they'd use one of the monsters from Twokaiger again. Thank Zordon they didn't. Yeah, no, they definitely stuck with the real soldier costumes for Precious. When Mucus was performing, wasn't that Sentai footage in there? I think it might have been. Yeah, I think the performance was Sentai footage, but we have seen Mucus perform live footage in Dino Fury before already. I think he was performing in the base, dancing with some of the henchmen. Good old Jorge. What are some of your favorite action sequences and wire work from Power Rangers Dino Fury and older seasons? Some of my favorite action sequences. God, trying to remember some specifically off the top of my head. I have always thought the wire work and stuff from the most recent two seasons were pretty incredible. I even really like, despite no, I was gonna say, despite not really being a big fan of Super Megaforce, or just Megaforce in general, I kind of really appreciated a lot of the civilian work that Megaforce really did. I kind of always enjoyed the civilian fights for Megaforce. Um, can't think of like battles in particular. I will say, recently, that season one finale for Dino Fury with the wire work, their battle, the civilian mode battle against Void Knight, stellar stuff, man, stellar stuff, just incredible, incredible. Oh, Roberto, in regards to the comedy, Professor Burley, that, yeah, that was him, that was him. Marcos, are you excited about the future of Power Rangers in 2022 and beyond? Between the comics and talks about Netflix universe, it seems PR is about to have another big boom. It felt that way, and now I'm still hesitant. Now I'm still very much on the edge of my seat to see like what exactly are we getting. I am excited about the future, but I'm also wary. I feel like I'm gonna need more concrete information to maybe come out by the end of this year for me to be fully like pumped and like truly excited, because I am kind of curious to see the direction of this reboot reimagined universe here rather soon, and really the 30th anniversary stuff that we're going to be getting. There is a level of excitement there, but I do feel like over the past maybe 2 or 3 weeks there definitely has been trickling a little bit of worry, but I still think brighter days are certainly still ahead of us. Roberto, with the situation going on with Austin St. John, do you think this will make him not be able to return to Power Rangers 30th anniversary? This was incredibly unexpected. Just like Ezra Miller on the Flash movie, Austin might not be able to come back or even for conventions. People make mistakes. There are people already opposing that Austin had always been making trouble behind the scenes, even though the two only Power Ranger actors who had done that were JDF and Blake Foster. Look, I don't really know too much about what Austin St. John's been doing behind the scenes or anything like that. But look, yes, there's definitely a real possibility that he's not able to return for the 30th anniversary. Does that mean those plans will automatically ruin the plans for the reunion special? Possibly, maybe not. Maybe Hasbro changes course and they're able to fill in that role or continue the series without him. You know, he's already at conventions. I've seen Austin St. John already announce the idea of him going to several different states throughout the United States. I don't necessarily know if he can leave the country, but clearly Homeboy's getting the opportunity to still travel and make money for his own. So we'll see how this plays out. I don't know. He pleaded not guilty. I don't know exactly when his court case or his court date comes up of when he's got to go back. Um, so we'll see. I think it's right up in the air right now. But as of right now, I have seen Austin St. John releasing dates for upcoming conventions. So yeah. Nova Lighting Productions. Um, why do many fans always ask how Jason got his powers back during Forever Red or Beast Morphers? Jason never lost his powers when he came back for Forever Red, because in MMPR Season 2, the episode The Power Transfer, when Zordon transferred powers from Jason, Zach, and Trini to Rocky, Adam, and Aisha, he clearly sees the Ranger suits. You clearly see the Ranger suits were duplicated. Even when Adam came back for Power Rangers in Space, Adam used the damaged original Mastodon Dino coin when he kept since the end of MMPR Season 3. I'm glad you remember that, Nova Lightning. I don't remember how that all played out, but yeah, I guess some fans think that's a question that needs to be answered still. But thank you for clarifying that for me. Jessica Fryman, which MMPR Ranger would you like to see cameo in the 30th anniversary special? For the 30th anniversary special, not the MMPR reunion, but for the 30th anniversary special MMPR Rangers, I would like to cameo. Probably just David Yost and maybe JDF. I want more OGs to pop up in the reunion, not so much the anniversary special. Like for me, the 30th anniversary, I would like to see more current Rangers from either the current Hasbro era, Neo Saban, and maybe one or two from Disney. Um, have bigger roles, but if we are going to bring in some original Rangers for like cameos, yeah, give me David Yost, JDF, maybe even Jen from Time Force, maybe Cassie from In Space, or TJ, who certainly knows. And then I would hold off the MMPR team for the actual reunion. Andre Thomas. Did you know that Power Rangers Time Force not only did they shoot in downtown Los Angeles, but also at Universal Studios? What do you think of that? I did not know that, but that's pretty cool. I mean, their studio down there was huge at the time. I'm assuming they still have their Universal Studios out there. Is one of the most popular and mature seasons of Power Rangers that use a lot of original footage while still using Sentai footage, and it worked to their benefit for sure because it was an amazing, amazing season. Johnny Marrero, some final Power Ranger questions. Do you feel like Lord Zed will be set up as the main antagonist and villain for the 30th anniversary season of Power Rangers? There's a part of me that would like to see that happen. Considering that, even the power of our first team, MMPR, wasn't enough to go ahead and take down Lord Zed. It literally took the sacrifice of Zordon and an influx of an amazing amount of power to go ahead and change who Lord Zed certainly was. There's a part of me that thinks that the Dino Fury Rangers could certainly put up a fight. I mean, they could very well be even more powerful than the MMPR team. So could they destroy Lord Zed? Possibly. But there is a part of me that would like to see Dino Fury team win, but Lord Zed escape, maybe barely with his life, and then maybe come back to truly be a bigger formidable foe for the 30th anniversary. That's how I would like to see it set up in my head, but I'm okay if it's not done that way. I mean, if he bites the dust by the end of Dino Fury season 2, I'll be okay with that, and we'll just be more interested to see who they bring back for the 30th anniversary. Maybe it's Rita, for all we know, right? I really have no idea, but uh, it would make sense if he was still the villain for the 30th anniversary. What was your favorite JDF moment in Power Rangers? I feel like for me, JDF is still at his finest and his best as the evil Green Ranger. But if I did have any great moments from him, it probably does come in Dino Thunder. I thought they had some really great moments for him, and just him, the idea of him being a mentor and taking a even bigger leadership role than he did as sort of the White Ranger and things like that. I always love those moments. I even loved him in Forever Red. I thought he had some great action sequences and moments also. But yeah, his evil Green Ranger stuff stands out to me. I've always loved him as a leader in his red as from Zeo. His time in Dino Fury was always a fantastic moment for me as well. So yeah, those are some of my great JDF moments. Do you hope the 30th anniversary season will be more real explosions instead of CGI ones? Yes, I do hope so, Johnny. I definitely do. And also very important, I just want to say thank you, Adam. I love seeing A+ Morphinominal every Saturday. I am very grateful for Power Ranger news, reviews, and other amazing things you bring on the channel. Thank you, Adam. You're awesome. I will miss your show, but I'm very grateful for it. May the power protect you. Thank you so much, Johnny, man. That really means the world to me, bro. So thank you very much for thinking about that. Let's see here. Doomsday, my last question for sadly the last episode of A+ Morphinominal. Do you feel like Time Force was the first season to show us what a gold digger looks like? Because one of the villains, Nadira, was with different mutants for their money, and when they eventually ran out, she got angry and called them completely useless. Maybe. I do wonder if maybe a little bit of Divatox in there from Turbo might fit in there also. But you might be right in regards to Nadira. That was pretty funny stuff. I appreciate that, Doomsday. Alexander Rosario talked about this on A+ Morphinominal. But what do you think? Hold on. Talked about this a lot on A+ Morphinominal. But what do you two cool dudes want to see and look forward to for Hasbro Power Ranger Universe reboot when it eventually comes out. For me, I really want to see them change the formula of Power Rangers. I want them to honestly separate themselves as much as they possibly can from the formula of how it's been done for years. 20-minute episodes, concluding a story all in one episode. I really would like to see more episodic or serial, I should say more serialized storytelling, more long form storytelling instead of necessarily wrapping up everything by the end of the season, at the end of the episode. So yeah, I really want to see them take some bold chances, whether that be a three team membership to begin off with, and then eventually grow to five, and then maybe eventually add a sixth ranger by the end of the season. A different episode count would be great. I would love anywhere between 10 to 13 episode seasons coming in at like 40 minutes a piece. I would love something like that, especially if you're going to be on a streaming service. Anywhere between 10 to 15 is okay. 15, maybe even pushing it. That still feels more CW-esque to me. But anywhere between 10 to 15, I would be perfectly okay with. But I just want to see Hasbro do something drastic, do something different, make some amazing costumes, some really great sort of characters that we can all emotionally sort of get connected to or recognize aspects of their life in our own, and just some really great costume design and great Zord design. And I think they could definitely do that. Do you prefer theaters or straight to Netflix or both? I know the 2017 movie didn't do so well in theaters, but Marvel and DC films go to theaters and even later on HBO Max. I will say this. I do feel like that's what bit Warner Brothers in the butt, by allowing them to financially not be compensated for their movies when they decided to not release it in theaters but drop it just on um, sometimes they just dropped it onto streaming services by itself. Sometimes they did it simultaneously in theaters and in the streaming service. For me, I would want to listen. I want to see Power Rangers in the movies. Like I'm a movie theater guy. The movie going experience is unlike anything that I've ever experienced in my life. I love being in the theaters with my popcorn in the dark room with great audio and visuals to experience a movie. That's how movies should certainly be enjoyed. But with the recent failures of Power Rangers at the box office, I like the idea of it being released maybe straight to streaming service. And then maybe a week or two, maybe after it's been on streaming services, maybe for a limited run, you put the movie out into theaters. If they've already been paid for this deal to go ahead and put this movie together in this world, they probably have already made a profit from this movie. So the idea of putting it into the box office, maybe for a limited run, probably won't hurt in the sense that you can still maybe make a little bit more extra money for it. But I just don't think it should just solely be in theaters. Even though, listen, when it comes to comic book movies and big blockbusters, they certainly tend to do very well. We have seen that recently with a lot of the big Marvel and DC movies, even Top Gun Maverick certainly coming through. But it is risky considering that literally 5 years ago, it feels like we had ourselves a Power Ranger movie and it didn't do that well. So can you convince the audience members, hey, I know you weren't the biggest fans of the past Power Ranger movie, but you're really going to like this one. You should come out to the theaters. I just don't know if the general public is ready for that as of yet. So I think they have to be very careful with how they release the Power Ranger movie, certainly going forward. But I think you can do both, but I think it just has to be very well planned out. Gabriel says, how incredible has Dino Fury been so far as a series? And do you agree that it is indeed one of the best seasons of Power Rangers we've had, not just above all the Neosa Bond series, but as one of the most loved seasons by many viewers? It's definitely top 10, I think, for some people, for sure. And some people might even put it in their top 5. I don't know if I'll go so far as to say top 5, but definitely top 10. But I have no problem with people if they want to put it in their top 5 for sure. But as one of the most loved seasons watched by many viewers, even new viewers who got to watch Dino Fury overseas thanks to Netflix. Oh yeah, I agree. While there were many episodes that were fillery or not as exciting, but as a whole, Dino Fury has definitely broke barriers, even getting an award for representing the LGBT community. Even the actress and Simon Bennett doing tons of interviews talking about their excitement, and that's and that's what they've learned. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Definitely some filler episodes, but I can tell you what, the filler episodes did do a great job of growing these characters, and I think having us mentally ready and emotionally ready for some of the journey that they're about to take in season 2. Jessica Fryman, do you think the rest of the MMPR Rangers had kids? And if so, they get their parents' powers and become a new team of MMPR Rangers, and good luck with your future works. Oh, thank you very much, Jessica. I appreciate it. I don't know if they've all had kids. Maybe one or two might have had a kid, but I don't know what their life has been like. And that's one of the reasons why I would like to see a reunion special for MMPR, to really see where these Rangers are certainly at in their lives. Have they grown? Have they gotten married? Have they been single, divorced? Do they have any kids? Do their kids like them, or is separated from their kids, type of thing, right? So I'm not under the impression that I'll be moved on. The powers will be moved on to their kids, but I would like to see what their life has certainly become after all these years. Are you still saving lives? Are you still being a superhero? You know what I mean? Ionis, what's up, Ionis? He says, this is just me, but for the 30th anniversary, do you think storyline wise, Hasbro will keep the continuity of the Power Rangers, where they won't pretend all the 27 seasons never existed, even though the rumors come true of Disney's daughter possibly being the main focus? 30th anniversary, I think they will keep continuity intact for the 30th anniversary. Anything after the 30th anniversary, though, that's definitely up for grabs. That's definitely up for grabs. We know Hasbro doesn't really care about all the other seasons, since MMPR is the moneymaker. However, since it will be an MMPR kind of reunion type anniversary special, I don't think Hasbro would be lazy with it. Yeah, I'm definitely not expecting them to be lazy with this 30th anniversary and the MMPR reunion special that we have. So again, I do think that if it's part of this universe still, if they are celebrating the 30th anniversary, I do think connective tissues will definitely be there. Jacob, what's up, Jacob? Appreciate you coming through. He says, I don't want to sound like a negative jerk, but I've heard stories that Hasbro not really giving much attention to Power Rangers, aside from the milking of Mighty Morphin when it comes to the toy line, being super slow with putting classic seasons on YouTube. I heard most recent Fan First even was a bit of a mess. Do you think this summer at Power Morphicon, if Hasbro would even do anything like surprises with the 30th anniversary announcements or release dates of the final episodes of Dino Fury Season 2. I'm not sure if anyone are even excited about Hasbro doing anything when it comes to Power Rangers as of late. I'm definitely, I would disagree with you in that last regards. I'm sure think that there are certainly people that are definitely still excited in regards to Hasbro doing anything. But again, I definitely understand the hesitancy. You've heard stories about Hasbro not really giving much attention to Power Rangers, aside Mighty Morphin, when it comes to the toy line being super slow. I will say, when it comes to the classic seasons of YouTube, they definitely have picked up the pace. I haven't really heard too many people complaining about Power Rangers on YouTube now. I definitely do think that they have a regular schedule now in which they are releasing loads of episodes for seasons. So I think they are definitely getting much better about it than what they certainly did. Do you think this summer at Power Morphicon, I do hope that they have some surprises for us. Um, while I'm hoping that by the time we get to Power Morphicon, I'm hoping that Dino Fury Season 2 will have dropped. Um, but it would be a great surprise if they announced Season 2 dropping that weekend while we're there. And, I wouldn't mind the 30th anniversary surprise, giving us an idea. So, yeah, I will say I think Hasbro will give us something at Power Morphicon. I'll go so far as to say that. Adrian Perez, for the 30th anniversary, if it does actually revolve around Yen as Trini's daughter, do you think Hasbro won't make the writers dumb down the story itself to accommodate the younger version, even though it will be a Netflix produced series? I do think that they'll probably push the envelope even a little bit more. I think you also had maybe Netflix with some pushback, maybe against some things for Dino Fury in regards to how it's executed as a season. But now that it is on Netflix, we've already kind of seen Hasbro giving the reins to the writers a little bit more, maybe with the exception of what Nickelodeon didn't allow them to do. But now that they're on Netflix, I do expect them to maybe push the envelope just a little bit more. So yeah, I'm not expecting them to go backwards and dumbing down anything. I expect them to continue to make progress. When Netflix having issues as of late, do you think Power Rangers might be affected? When Hasbro may have found someplace else to put Power Rangers in the future, even back to Nickelodeon, if they have no other choice. Once again, Power Rangers back to being in suffocation. I don't know if they would go backwards, but listen, with everything going on with Netflix, I am curious as to, I hope that deal was already done. I hope Netflix already gave them the money that they needed to go ahead and produce all this content that they certainly want. I don't think it'll affect Hasbro as of right now. I think because the deal came in before the bad news, I think maybe going forward, they might be a little bit more wary of the deals that they want to go ahead and kind of create. But I think Power Rangers might be okay. I think Hasbro and them might be okay when it comes to that. AJ with a brief live viewer question for the 30th anniversary union special or season with David Yost. I hope I hope he has a really significant role. I love that when Johnny Bosch came back as Adam for the 15th anniversary, he was the lead of the Retro Rangers team, but allowed the other Rangers and even the Overdrive team to shine. So I hope Hasbro does something similar, but more impactful for Billy's character. And that there's one of the reasons why I think maybe he is coming back. I think it's got to be somewhat impactful. So I am hoping that there is some mentorship level. Maybe he reveals something or he helps the team out in his cameo or whatever the case may be in the 30th anniversary. And I think the idea of maybe getting David Yost back was also the idea of like, hey, we'll do something great with you, not only in the anniversary, but we also have plans for this MMPR revival or reunion special that we would love to have you on board with. And maybe that gives him even more of a shine for his character. So I don't think Billy will be wasted here. I think if David Yost is coming back, they've given him something to do that's worthy enough. You also say Power Rangers deserves to make it up to David Yost. He's been through behind the scenes since during Zeo. Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. Let's see here. We're almost done here. Carter Matthews, the pushback some longtime fans have regarding the 30th anniversary of Power Rangers, like being a 44-minute long episodes with shorter amount of episodes. On the other hand, I do understand why some fans do have pushback. Maybe they feel like when it comes to anniversaries, as of recent, they've been burnt so many times by Saban and Nickelodeon that it's too good to be true. My biggest worry personally for the 30th anniversary special or season is how much effort and money Hasbro will put into this and the acknowledgement of post Mighty Morphin. Filming 5 to 6 weeks is a very small period of time, so I hope the writers take their time and worry about creating a really good quality celebration, not just looking at the clock. Well, the writing's already been made, so that's definitely not so much the case. I think the writing's probably already been done. So they're not writing the story in 5 to 6 weeks. They're just simply filming what would technically have already been done. So I don't think it's a case of looking at the clock. This feels like they already have had their plan in place, and this is certainly what we're going to be getting. And again, I am still kind of up on the fence in regards to this 44-minute long. 1 minute we've got the Illuminati mentioning to us that that's what the reunion special might be, or the 30th anniversary. The idea that it could be shorter amount of episodes, but longer episodes. And then recently, in their most recent Illuminati article, I think they clarified the idea that the 44-minute episode is maybe not for the 30th anniversary, but more or less the MMPR reunion special. So I am still very much up in the air as to what we're going to get. Not to say that the 30th anniversary can't be, but there is a part of me that thinks that the MMPR reunion special and the 30th anniversary that we're going to be getting might all be filmed together. So it might be a 1 episode special type of thing for this reunion special for MMPR, and then maybe anywhere between a 6 to 8 episode 30th anniversary season. You know what I mean? It just really depends on the format and how they plan on filming things. So it's very much still up in the air. But I will say, you know, he said, the pushback some longtime fans have. they say that sometimes it's too good to be true, and it certainly could be. But at the end of the day, when we've spent majority of our years complaining that the anniversary seasons haven't been very good, why don't they give us extended episodes of these anniversary seasons? Now that they are, what are we complaining about now, right? So pick and choose your battles, guys. Pick and choose your battles. Taylor Aaron Johnson, also probably known as Aaron Taylor Johnson. Is this a fake account that somebody just put together to, like, I don't know, movies or something? What do you think of Super Sentai seasons showing kids on the show itself playing with toy figures of a Megazord that the actual team used? Do you feel it's confusing for the viewers, or just shows that the Sentai teams are loved by the people they save? I don't think it's confusing. To me, it just shows that the viewers, or the people, love them some Super Sentai seasons. I mean, the people of Japan definitely know, especially in the series themselves, who the Super Sentai teams definitely are, and they constantly root for them. So it does not surprise me that there are toys of the teams in the seasons. That doesn't surprise me at all. Alex says, what do you think of time travel episode of MMPR season 3 when the Rangers were turned into Miss? What? Did you? I think you gave me a. What did you think of the time traveling episode of MMPR season 2 when the Rangers were turned into kids? Did you think it was cool or super confusing? I thought it was so confusing because the timeline made no sense. For example, Rocky, Adam, Aisha were still there even though they should have disappeared, instead of bringing back Jason, Zach, and Trini. Obviously, the adult actors walked off set, but doesn't mean we can't see their kid versions. Heck, even Tommy was still around for some reason, even though he never met the original MMPR team until season 1. This same issues. I was never a big fan of the Kid Rangers. I just wasn't, man. I just wasn't. Yeah, I was never really a big fan. Benjamin says Adam is a badass. Not me. He's talking about Johnny Young Bosch. Isn't it crazy that Johnny Young Bosch as Adam is such a badass? He risked his life using the damaged power morphin. Always a chance. Yeah, that was always a fantastic one. He even got a chance to be the leader in the 15th anniversary crossover. Why is it Adam isn't praised the same way as Tommy? I mean, Adam nearly killed himself, yet Tommy gets all the recognition. Being multiple Rangers doesn't mean you are a badass, even if you're not willing to use. I wouldn't say. I mean, had you asked me the same question, if Tommy was in the same predicament and same shoes as Adam, would he have done the same thing? Absolutely. And that's not just a Tommy thing either. I think if you take any of the other Rangers, they probably would have done it also. But the fact that they chose Adam, yeah, man. Listen, Adam does not get anywhere as much recognition as he certainly deserves. But I will say, I do think that there are a lot of Power Ranger fans out there that recognize the greatness that is Adam. I definitely will say that for sure. Yeah, Adam up there is probably top 5 Rangers, probably of all time. I wish he did. Johnny's just moved on to so many other things, um, doing some great voiceover work and stuff when it comes to anime. But I do love absolutely what he's been able to do with the character. But yeah, I agree. He definitely should get more love. He is absolutely badass. Adam Perea, how incredible has Simon Bennett been as a showrunner for Dino Fury so far? The show feels really fresh and unique again, while still containing elements in Neo Saban era seasons. It's just so amazing that Dino Fury as a season has managed to impress so many longtime Power Ranger fans, even bringing in newer fans from all over the world thanks to Netflix. I also absolutely love that many episodes we've had so far in Dino Fury really harkens back and echoes past older seasons of Power Rangers, and that's one of the reasons why I love and appreciate Simon Bennett. And I remember when we talked on the Illuminati about what does the future hold for Simon Bennett? Is he somebody that we should certainly bring back into the Power Ranger fold, or with this reboot and reimagining kind of moving forward? And one of the things that I mentioned was the idea that, look, he's done such a good job when it comes to the kids programming side of things, that if Hasbro is going to be working on these connective pieces, this bigger cinematic universe, if they plan on delivering us a movie, a more mature television series, animation along with kids programming that they've mentioned, I don't see any reason not to bring back Simon Bennett if he wants to do it, obviously. At least when it comes to the kids programming side of things, I say let him into the room, let him in on the conversations of what you were creating overall, and allow him to be a part of it, even if that is just doing what the storyline plans for when it comes to the kids programming side of things. The fact that him and the writers have managed to make Dino Fury so enjoyable, and I think more importantly, bring people back into the Power Ranger fold. I think when you've got somebody that's that good at what he does, has a pulse, that understands what the fans are looking for, I think you got to hold on to competent people like that that also want to make creative changes and improve upon what they've already done. And I think Simon Bennett is one of those guys. And so, he's got some great track record in regards to experience when it comes to that. And I think it's been highlighted here in Dino Fury. And if he's managed to make Dino Fury so great that people love talking about Power Rangers again and kind of coming back into the fold, yeah, I say keep him around, man. Keep him around. We got Nicole here says, thank you, Adam, for being a more phenomenal host. See you on the flip side. Blossom says, Adam, thank you very much for always hosting A Plus More Phenomenal every Saturday. It meant the world to us. May the power protect you forever. Thank you very much, man. I really do appreciate that. Let's see here. Can I get through the last of these? Yeah, I'm gonna try and blaze through the last of these because I think we're almost done wrapping up questions, guys. I think I've managed to get like 3 weeks worth of questions. McKinsey, do you feel Saban purchasing Power Rangers back from Disney was a huge backfire? I do. I feel like it took Power Rangers back like another decade. It really is a shame that we don't get much Power Ranger content aside from the TV series compared to Japan and their tokusatsu content always on autopilot. There's so much untapped potential. As for Hasbro reimagining Reboot Universe, are you worried about how the movie has been rumored or speculated to take a couple years before it comes out? No, it doesn't. Or the new CEO of Hasbro might change things where this universe might not even happen at all. Now, that is probably a worry of me. I don't necessarily know if they're going to completely axe everything. If you spent $512 million in purchasing this as a brand, you got to do something with it. And the idea of just doing same old just doesn't seem like the key to me. So while it may not necessarily be a priority that he has, I still think that they are going to go through with their plans to reboot this. But that does worry me more than the idea of it taking a couple of years to come out. Movies usually will take about 2 to 3 years, pre-production to casting to filming to post-production to special effects and music composition. Movies like that take 2 to 3 years, I feel like, to certainly happen anyway. So, once the 2017 movie ended, I didn't expect them to immediately begin working on this, right? So, I'm still not expecting them. I'm definitely not expecting a Power Ranger movie in 2023, 2024, 2025. Maybe I'll put my money more on 2024 though, but we'll see, man. Things definitely have to start moving a little bit for that to happen. Oliver, what's up, Oliver? Never ever happened. But would you ever like to see a Spider-Man crossover style of Mighty Morphin TV series, the 95 movie and the 2017 reboot, even if it's not in live action? That would be pretty cool. Yeah, maybe give me like if we're gonna go to animation route, maybe give me something along those lines. I would love to see that in animation. Let's see, Carlo. He says, what do you think of JDF's announcement that he's done with Power Rangers for good? Do you think diehard MMPR fans, JDF fans, and the Toxic fans will think JDF leaving because the franchise went to crap or nothing beats the original? No, I think people would understand the fact that he is almost pushing 50, and I think after a while you kind of want to do other things with your life, right? Like he spent a lot of time of his life in devotion to Power Rangers where, I don't know what his attitude was to creating other things outside of Power Rangers or getting more involved. Like, I don't know if Jason David Frank went out to casting calls to be in bigger time movies, but I think if anything, I think people will understand why he wants to depart. I think so. With him saying there's no reboot or he didn't know about it, I sure think he's just saying that to keep us off the rails, or obviously can't say anything. Again, I don't know what that relationship with Hasbro is. There's a part of me that thinks maybe he wasn't even invited, but I could be wrong. Maybe the invite was thrown out, but maybe he's just ready to do other things and just doesn't want to come back. I think when his boy was Saban for a while. I don't know if he's got the same connections with Saban as he does with Hasbro. So maybe he doesn't have as much pull as he used to, but he's such a big part of the Power Ranger franchise. You would think that they would have at least approached him. But again, I really don't know. Actors always say they're done with certain series or movie franchises they've been sort of for so long, yet end coming back in the future. I mean, I agree. But usually there's a big separation of time in which they don't come back, right? Or aren't a part of the franchise. And I don't think JDF has ever really left. So yes, definitely never say never, right? Never burn your bridge. Always certainly keep it open. Um, but it would not surprise me if we're done with JDF, or we get at least maybe one more appearance from him in the 30th anniversary. Maybe not the revival or reunion that they're mentioning here. Maybe he pops up in the 30th anniversary one last time, and maybe that's it. But I am under the impression that he's probably done. He's probably done. Francois, what's up, Francois? Quickly jumping back from last week's episode review, I really like that Javi was able to use the Dino Knight armor as a way to train Zeto's attack. That was pretty cool, getting an opportunity to see um, partners, working or fighting against each other as a training to sort of level up Zato, if you will, getting him ready for his next battle. I think that was pretty cool. It kind of goes in par with like the training sessions that we've seen them do a couple of times here throughout Dino Fury. You know how it's really a power up if an armor is shared by others. I really love that Javi was able to use it, even if it was just a way to train Zato. Really shows that a battleizer isn't just tied to the Red Ranger like their DNA. And I would be curious if we get to see the battleizer utilized by other Rangers as well. This definitely has been certainly different from the battleizers that I've been known to see. But I'm hoping that if this was, if Javi wearing this power up or battleizer was any indication, maybe it does allow them to utilize it. So don't be surprised if we see other Rangers use it also. I remember when Power Ranger SPD, Sky the Blue Ranger, asked the same question, why the Red Ranger always gets the cool stuff. So I love that in Dino Fury, we actually got a response to that by seeing Javi using Zato's armor for a brief moment. Yeah, that's absolutely true. The Red Rangers always get the cool shit, man, all the time. Jackson Peterson, was anyone else confused during Trakina's revenge team up, which was the Lightspeed and Lost Galaxy Rangers, when they used Ginga Man's morphine sequence footage instead of the Lost Galaxy one? I know that the team up itself originally was meant as a McDonald's commercial, but I guess the Bond saw potential, so he made it into an actual team up. While it did have issues like Amy Miller not returning as Trakina due to the little girl having more screen time, the Damon and Kendricks only showing up near the end thanks to Sentai footage, it was still a pretty good team up. I love that the Lights of Orion was able to energize the Lightspeed Omega Megazord with the Galaxy Megazord, and seeing both teams in the cockpit was badass. I totally agree with you there. That definitely was badass. I'll never forget the dumb line from the old lady when the little girl tried to get help. She said, "There's no such thing as monsters." Backup question: in Power Rangers Season 2, during the second half, when did you realize Zach Trini and Zach were no longer played by the original actors who walked off set? I noticed that when they didn't show their faces. The fact that I think that they always showed their backs, I was like, there's something fishy about this. There's something fishy kind of going on. So I think that's when I realized that something was happening there. And then we got Brian Lee. What's up, Brian Lee? What if Disney brought back Power Rangers in the future and it would be on Disney XD or not? It might look, I don't know the future of Power Rangers after Hasbro. We'll definitely see how it goes. But if anything, if this does go south with Hasbro and Power Rangers, it would be pretty cool if they went back to Disney. Would it be on Disney XD or not? I don't believe so. I think if you're gonna do that, if and this is a big if Disney were to go ahead and pick up Power Rangers again, it would be a Disney original series. It would be on probably Disney Plus. So that's probably where you would probably catch Power Rangers at. But other than that, guys, that's it, man. All the live viewer questions from like a week and a half's worth have in fact been answered, guys. So thank you everybody for all of your questions. And just over the years for all your live viewer questions. It really has been amazing here. Let me see what some of you guys are saying. Johnny Morero says, thank you for everything you have done for A Plus More Phenomenal. Datilla says, Adam, it's been fun being a part of the channel and this amazing community. You're a fantastic host, and I hate to see the channel go. Well, again, the channel will certainly be here. We just unfortunately will not be doing A Plus More Phenomenal on a weekly basis for you guys. The content will certainly still remain up here. And it'll probably just be open just for future purposes. You know, right now the plan for me when it comes to A Plus Hero Report is I would like to continue to grow it. I would like to continue to find content creators out there on YouTube, people that feel comfortable being in front of the camera on the mic, to grow A Plus Hero Report, whether that be for co-hosting on our shows, to doing reviews for our channel. You know, we've always wanted to dabble more into video games. You know, if we got video game content creators or people that want to talk video games, we would love to create more content for A Plus Hero Report. Same thing when it comes to wrestling, if you're big wrestling fans. And same thing goes with Power Rangers. Like I mentioned, you know, if we keep growing and I can get, say, 2 to 3 other co-hosts that maybe enjoy Power Rangers, who's to say that, you know, we don't keep A Plus More Phenomenal around, or we revive it at some point in time. I think if anything, what I will be doing on Hero Report, because we also talk like Star Wars there as well, and usually all my overlays, like you see, like the themes that you see around my screen with all the different colors and stuff, like I've got one specifically for Star Wars, that when I do my reviews and my talks, it looks different, but it still has the A Plus Hero Report logo on it. I may do that when I talk some Power Ranger content. You may still see the more phenomenal color scheme and things like that, but just with the brand name of A Plus Hero Report on it from time to time, especially if we do individual Power Ranger episodes on our channel, sort of thing. So again, never say never. Life certainly changes and comes at you quite differently. So it's one of the reasons why I will keep the channel up. We just won't be doing content on it for it right now. But again, if you guys are content creators, if you feel confident, or you know, if you're trying to grow and want a place where you can bring your content and help our channel grow as well and be a part of the community, always feel free to certainly reach out to me. Let's see here. What else we got? S. Caroma says, gracias. You're certainly more than welcome. Mikey says the problem with Power Rangers now is there's no leadership like Disney. Yes, probably a good point there. Tarek says, thank you, Adam, for doing Power Rangers on A Plus More Phenomenal and Opinions for such a long time. You really helped me get through my first years of college. Thank you again, and kept me on track with Power Rangers. Well, hey, man, Tarek, I appreciate it, AJ. It means the world to me, man, that you've stuck around with me as long as you have. You've always been a true friend, honestly, a great homie. I've really enjoyed connecting with you and having you as a part of this family, man, and all the support, all the likes, all the sharing of the videos and stuff. I really do appreciate everything that you've done, man. Thank you very much. Jessica Fryman, good to see you in the live chat, Jessica. I answer your questions on a weekly basis. I feel like I never see you in here, though. I'm going to miss your Power Ranger channel, Adam. Good luck with your future works. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Jessica. That means a lot. JB says, what? Says, hey, if I didn't have my own channel, I'd join you guys. Well, hey, man, we could collaborate sometime for sure. It doesn't mean you have to give up certainly what you love to do, bro. Let's see here. Yeah, man. But I think other than that, I think that will do it for us, man. Look, guys, you know, some parting words here before we go. Um, Listen, again, I'm not dying. Okay. Um, Adam Perez will certainly still be around to talk Power Rangers. It just may have a different presentation at times. It just may look a little bit different than what it does now. But if you would like to still follow me, again, there is a link in the description box below for APlus Hero Reports. That's where we will be moving all of our Power Ranger content to. So definitely follow us there if you'd like. Um, if anything, what I would like to say, at least some like final words when it comes to the Power Ranger community. While I'm hoping that I still continue to collaborate with some great Power Ranger content creators out there and still talk Power Rangers with you guys, even though I don't necessarily have a Power Ranger focused show anymore. Um, the one thing I've always loved about Power Rangers, guys, is at least growing up for me as a kid who grew up in New York. I grew up from the Bronx, grew up in Brooklyn. Living in New York, I got the opportunity to see just a melting pot of people. People that looked different than me, different shades than me, had different opinions, different outlooks than me. I guess there's a part of me that feels very blessed that I had the opportunity to grow up in that type of environment. I definitely do think that, along with maybe being raised in the church a little bit by my grandparents, when it comes to, maybe gives me a different mindset in regards to accepting people and who they are. But one of the things I always loved about Power Rangers, and what attracted to me outside of the fantastic martial arts, because I think for me as a kid, Power Rangers hit me at just the right time in my life when I loved martial arts and getting into Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan and stuff, right? It was unlike anything that I had ever seen. But I always loved the idea of being able to see myself on screen. The fact that Power Rangers has always embraced diversity since it first became a thing, really shepherding that before any other series really did, has been doing that for the past sort of 20 years. It's something that I've always loved about Power Rangers. I love its action. I love the idea of it adapting things from Super Sentai. I always loved it as a kid. And even getting older, the values of Power Rangers certainly still holds true to me. Um, I do think that regardless of the fact that this show is made for kids, the life lessons that it continues to teach on a weekly basis, I think, is something that, while we sometimes ignore because it feels like filler, I do feel like those life lessons that even the kids learn in these episodes are sometimes life lessons that I think us as adults need to remember, and need to fully understand, and in order to get back to maybe where we were as a society in regards to appreciating each other, understanding that at the end of the day, we are just human beings more than we are black, white, Asian, Pacific Islander, whatever the case may be. Um, and where we're at in society these days is extremely scary, um, especially as somebody who's just become a father. And so there is a part of me that appreciates Power Rangers more than ever to sort of be that voice that a lot of people don't get to hear anymore. And if there is any lesson that I've always wanted people to take away, not only from my channel, but from Power Rangers, is really the idea that we're all in this together. We are a community, we are a family, and regardless of your sexuality, regardless of your color, we can't forget that we're human beings and that we all have feelings, and we've all experienced some level of what somebody has gone through in their lives. Um, and so I've always wanted my channel to be a place for opinions to be heard, whether they're great opinions or crappy opinions, but to be able to find the level of compromise and understanding that sometimes is lost in the society that we're in today. And so I hope that I've done my part in being a great balance out there in the community, to not being maybe too negative or maybe too positive at times, but being able to find a common ground between people that don't agree and do agree. And so I thank you guys for being so respectful, not only to each other, but to me, and allowing this channel to grow where it's at today, because I really could not be here without you guys and your support. But if there is any lesson that I want people to take away from my channel and from my love of Power Rangers, is simply to be good to each other, man. Just be good to each other, because society can crumble really quickly and we can fall on opposing lines so quickly and forget the word compromise and holding ourselves accountable and holding other people accountable and understanding it's okay to fail in life, and understand that those failures make you stronger. And that's just not lessons I've learned from life. Those are also lessons I learned from Power Rangers. And I think that's something that we need to remember, that regardless of how old we get, those life lessons that Power Rangers teaches are meant to hold us over our entire lives, our entire lives. So let's take a step back, stop the hate, compromise more, be okay with accepting our own losses and failures and growing from them and getting better and being better people because of it. So to all my content creators out there, keep doing you. Don't let anybody else ever put you down or to what you're creating. People aren't always going to like what it is that you do and what it is that you create, but there will be people out there that do enjoy it. And you keep doing it for them, and you keep doing it for yourself, and you keep being a positive influence to people out there in the world. I know negativity wins a lot of the times. It wins the viewerships of a lot of YouTube and things like that. Stay true to yourself always and spread positivity instead of negativity, guys. And thank you for giving me the privilege and the honor to share my thoughts and my energy and time to create this content, and you guys accepting it as much as you have. We may not have always agreed, but we've disagreed respectfully, and we've compromised. And that's all that I can ever ask for, man. That's all I can ever ask for, guys. So thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of your guys' life as much as I have been, and a part of this community for as long as I have. Again, I'm not dying. I still certainly will be here, but understand that your love and your support has been appreciated more than you guys will ever know. So I hope I've done my part, and I hope I can continue to do my part for this community and for other fandoms as well. But guys, that's going to be it for me. And other than that, deuces. I'll see you guys on the next show, I guess, on the APlus Hero Report. I'll see you guys around for sure. And I always end off with this, and I mean it more than ever today, guys. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and keep it A+. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.